Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? Good to see all of you fine people. Cynthia Firefighter is the first. Oh, yeah. Debbie Webb. Hey, W. You're so wonderful. Brenda, little sis. David Del Prince. Morning, morning, morning. Welcome. Brenda. Tammy Bugard. How you doing? I am so good. Oh, my gosh. Yes. I saw your name. That's why the name sounded familiar. I saw your name come popping up yesterday. Someone said, "What happened to Tammy Ricard?" I was like, why does that name sound familiar? I'm so bad. Oh, good to see you, Joanne. How you doing, Starkey? Starzy. Jesus. Somebody save me. I'm drowning here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope that everybody's doing well this morning. Do we have some craziness for you this morning? Oh my gosh. Some of it I really want to talk about, but I just can't talk about it, damn it. It'll get me in trouble on the YouTubes. Let's see, where do we begin? It's gonna be crazy. Making small improvements out of the surgery. Excellent. I'm glad you are doing much better. Oh my gosh. I hope that I can bring a little bit of laughter in people's lives, because this is just some crazy crap. Oh, let's see. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into this morning. Let's see. Oh boy. In Mexico, Mexican president blames the U.S. for bloodshed in Shinola as the cartel violence surges. Okay, this is weird. All right, let's see. He blamed the United States in part on Thursday for the surge in cartel violence terrorizing Shinola, which left at least 30 people dead in the past week. Two warring factions of the Shinola cartel have clashed in the state capital of Culiacan. What appears to be a fight over power since two of its leaders were arrested in the United States in late July. Oh. So we were doing our job, and now they want to blame us for the cartel. That's not how it works, you dummy. Here's the thing: if you would step it up and go after these people, like you could maybe make this stop. How you doing? They don't know shit from China. That's so true. Oh my god. Oh, the two factions of the Shinola cartel clashed in the state capital in what appears to be a fight over power since one of them was arrested. Two of its leaders were arrested in the United States in July. Teams of gunmen have shot at each other in the security forces. Meanwhile, the deleted bodies continue to pop up around the city. They're like they're like whack-a-moles. They just keep popping up. We just knock them down. Oh my god, it's not as bad as this other one that I have to read to you guys by the AP. It's gonna kill you. Oh, they keep popping up around the city. On one busy street, cars drove by pools of the blood, leading to a body in a car mechanic shop. Why was he? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. That sounds so bad. Maybe that wasn't blood. It might have been transmission fluid. Well, heavily armed police in black masks. What? Why are they wearing black masks? Loaded up another body stretched out on a side street in the Shinola city. Oh, it's just like, keep picturing a stretched Armstrong. I got his leg. And they're just pulling this guy. Why are you stretching him? Asked at this morning's briefing if the U.S. government was jointly responsible for this violence in Shiloh, the president said, yes, of course, for having carried out this operation. It's like from the 70s and 80s, whenever I was a kid, Operation. Where he touched the sides with the tweezers and it goes, it's lights up. This is so bad. Recent surge in cartel warfare has been expected after Joaquin Guzman Lopez, the son of former Shinola cartel leader Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, landed near El Paso, Texas on July 15th in a small plane with Ishmael El Mayo. Oh God. Oh, sorry. Oh God. His name is El Mayo. Sorry, that's so bad. Zambada. Zambada was the cartel's elder figure and reclusive leader. After his arrest, he said in a letter circulated by his lawyer that had been abducted by younger Guzman and taken to the U.S. against his will. Come on, old man, we're going to the U.S. It just drops off the border. You ain't going to get out of here alive. Oh. On Thursday afternoon, another military operation covered the north of Culiacan with the military encircling helicopters. Like, why are these helicopters here? I don't know, man. They're like circling. Just, gee, like they're playing Stretch Armstrong. They took his pants off and they're just dragging him around. Oh my God. Traffic was heavy and most of the schools were open, even though parents were not sending their children to classes. Okay. Oh, let's see if I can get through this without dying. Oh my gosh. While the city is slowly reopened, people don't venture out after dark. Sorry. While the city is slowly reopened and soldiers patrol the streets, many families continue to hide away, with parents and teachers fearing they'll be caught in the crossfire. The dogs aren't worried. What about the single people? Nah, they're not worried either. It's just teachers and parents. Why? Why aren't the students fearful that they might be caught in a crossfire too? Jeez, man. Like, people. Why not people fearing that they'll be caught in a crossfire of like Wild Wild West? Oh my God. So they ask, where's the security for our children, our families too, for all citizens? It's so dangerous here. You don't want to go outside. One Kaluka mother told the Associated Press, well, this is what happens. Hey, good morning, Tom Gillis. How you doing this morning? Oh my gosh. It's so dangerous here. You don't want to go outside, one mother told the Associated Press. I'm sorry. This is just so bad. We don't want to go outside. Why did they take away our firearms? Why can't we protect ourselves? Well, this is what happens whenever you live in a shithole country like Mexico. And you can't stop the cartel. Oh God, what did you expect was going to happen? Just, you're going to be able to do something. I mean, guys. Oh my God. Oh, the mother who didn't want to share her name out of fear of the cartels. Well, I think they figured out who you were. It's like you got the Associated Press there, you know, and they're asking everybody all these questions. What do you think this whole thing? It's just up there. I'm so fearful for my life. Don't tell them who I am. Oh, the mother who didn't want to share her name out of fear for the cartels said that while some homeschools, I thought that said homeschools. I was like, okay, have recently reopened. She hasn't allowed her daughter to go for 2 weeks. But go to school or just go? Like, Mom, I really gotta poop. And she's like, no, you can't go. But Mom, I really gotta go. No, no pooping for you. She said she was scared to do so after armed men stopped a taxi they were traveling in on their way home. No, you scared the shit out of her. No more pooping for you. Oh, gosh. During this morning news briefing, Lopez Arbador claimed American authorities carried out that operation to capture Zambada, and it was totally illegal, man. Like, not cool. And the agents from the Department of Justice were waiting for Mr. Mayo. Who are you? I'm Mr. Mayo. Oh God. Mayo. That's Mayo. Daylight come and she wanna go home. May. I said May. I said Mayo. I said Mayo. Oh. We are now facing instability and clashes in Shinola because the American government, they made that decision. He added that there cannot be a cooperative relationship if they take unilateral decisions like this. Oh, Mexican prosecutors have said they were considering bringing treason charges against those involved in the plan to nab Zambada. Well, you will get treason. I'm sorry, just reading this stuff is cracking me up. Oh, God. He was echoed by President-elect Claudia Sheinbaum. You're right, they don't know shit from Sheinbaum. Who said later on the day that we can never accept that there's no communication or collaboration. Oh, God. Oh. Well, if you were doing your job, the U.S. wouldn't have to. It's the latest escalation of the tensions in the U.S.-Mexico relationship. Last month, the Mexican president said he was putting relations on the U.S. and Canadian embassies on pause after the ambassadors criticized his controversial plan to overhaul Mexico's judiciary by requiring all judges to stand for election. Like, you can't run this like a communist dictatorship, asshole. They're going to have to be running for it. They're going to have to become justices by running for election. But it doesn't matter what he does. And if you don't like it, United States and Mexico and all you other fuckers, this is how they want to run their country. Let them run their country how they want to. Still, the Zambada capture has fueled criticisms of Lopez Obrador, who has throughout his administration refused to confront cartels in a strategy he refused to is hugs, not bullets. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. What have I had besides coffee? I don't know, man. Like, I'm reading this story and I just can't help but laugh. I mean, this is only the first story. It gets better. Oh, God. I think they wrote the news for me this morning. I swear. I couldn't have done any better. Oh. Sorry. drugs, not bullets. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, and while the president, who is set to leave office at the end of the month, has promised his plan would reduce cartel violence, such clashes continue to plague Mexico. Cartels employ an increasing array of tactics, including roadside bombs or IEDs. Not be confused with IUDs. Big difference. What is that? That is a roadside bomb. No, it could be an IUD. Pull it out quick. Trenches, homemade armored vehicles, and bomb dropping drones. Oh, God. Last week, Lopez Obrador publicly said Shinolas warned factions to act responsibly and just continue killing yourselves off. And noted he believed the cartels would listen to him. Oh, God, you're wondering why your country is having such a shit time. Oh, my God. Oh, this is so bad. The bloodshed has only continued. Well, no shit. God. This is so bad. Oh, God. Oh. Just go. No. No. Oh. Oh, God. I'm going to need more coffee. This is so fucking crazy. Oh. My heart beating a little faster. Preach, Jesse, preach. Oh. What is this? Oh, I gotta save that. That's gonna be good. Oh, let's see. Fact checked. Oh. So bad. Oh. So I've got to drive you guys a little crazy this morning, and I hate to do it. I hate to do it. I hate to do this to you, but it's got to happen. It really does. And if you haven't seen this yet, well, be aware. Thank you, Hamels girl. This is gonna make you just notice she's still wearing her fucking pearl earrings. That's all I'm gonna say.
Having to deal with this lie that has endangered the lives of Haitian people and anybody who looks Haitian. Everybody in America feels for that. And everybody in America, left, right, middle, has concerns about immigration. Yeah. And I'm told that Justin, where are you in the audience? Justin.
Hello.
In our audience.
Hello, Madam Vice President.
You live in Michigan.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't you love saying hello, Madam Vice President?
I do.
What's your question? It's an immigration question.
My question for you is, when you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be your specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful.
Well, this is such a bad question. Seeing that you are the vice president, why haven't you done anything to strengthen the border? That should be the question that he's asking. Well, it's because is that Pedro Martinez's kid? Oh my God. Oh, Daddy wanted cigarettes. Leave her. What have I had besides coffee? No, this is it. Just coffee. This is all I've had this morning. When I pulled this up and I was just like, oh my God, this is what you can expect from Camel Toe. I mean, there's no joke. This is exactly what to expect from Camel Toe. And she's just he's got a pager over his left butt cheek. No, he's a plant. See, it's not that. What that is a wireless microphone that they gave to him because he probably is paid to be there. Okay, this is it. I would almost I would almost bet that this guy right here, you could probably find him on some TikTok channel somewhere that somebody else is watching, some TikTok or YouTube or Facebook. He's got a little bit of fame. I would almost guarantee that in some way he's being paid to ask this question. And it sounds funny, but it is. Your bat has no balls joke. Oh, how do you look Haitian?
Wonderful and important question. My background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms.
So notice the pearl earrings. Also notice her hesitation whenever she's speaking, because she's gonna be getting things read to her in her ear, and then she'll repeat those words.
Of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. Okay. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people. Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill.
Which she's wrong on this. That's not what that was. They might have come up with a portion of it, but what they wanted to do is they wanted to send funding to Ukraine. Some of it to Israel, but majority of it to the Ukraine. The Ukraine. Yeah, people soak this up. This guy's an influencer somehow. I mean, just this is all. He's a paid shill. What's he at? What is she actually saying? Well, exactly. She's not. That's the thing. It is going to be 3.5 minutes of word salad.
And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Let me tell you, those border agents are working around the clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief,
which was a lie. What their border bill was supposed to do in the border towns was to give them funding to have more processing so they could process more people into the United States. That's what their funding bill was for. So they could hire people working behind the counter as they just bring in more illegals. That's all that was. That's all that was.
Which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here. So I don't need to tell the folks who are watching this what fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country, and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect. The bill would have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations.
No.
And it would have
see, she's just got fed a new line. And, and it would have done this too. No, it would have done none of that. That's why they lost the whole damn shebang. Like that, all that she's saying is absolute bullshit. They were in charge. And even Donald Trump called it out, said, you can, Joe Biden right now can make an executive order to shut down the border. If he wanted to, at any point in time, he's been able to do that. Has he done it? No, nothing at all. He's done absolutely nothing. Oh, this is so bad that people eat it up and they believe that it's true. They believe that this bullshit is true. And the sad part is, it just Like last night, having a conversation with my wife, she goes, "Oh, it's a good thing that the Fed came and cut rates." I was like, "That's not enough." She was like, "Well, it just every little bit helps." I was like, "Sweetheart, that doesn't help. A half a percentage is nothing. Is nothing. It doesn't even begin to move the needle." And she was like, "Well, inflation, it's down." And I was like, "As compared to what?" I was like, "Just because it didn't go up 3.5% doesn't mean it's down." She was like, "Well, that's not what it means." I was like, I'm sitting there shaking my head because this is the bullshit that people believe that, oh, because it didn't go up another, 3.5%, it only went up 2.9%, that it didn't move. And I'm looking at her. This is my lovely wife. I'm going, I thought that you were smarter than this. I'm blown away that you don't understand what it means whenever inflation keeps going up. It's not that it stops, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Well, it's not as bad as it. I go, in spite of the people trying to destroy this country. Yeah. Amazing how it works. As long as you can keep the wolves at bay, it'd be great. Yeah, the Ukraine funding bill. Exactly. Just
Been part of the solution. And Donald Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill. And you know why?
Wow.
Well, Trump had nothing to do with blocking a bill. Trump had absolutely nothing to do with this. And she's being fed this stuff into her ear. It's the same tired talking point. Trump blocked this bill. Trump wasn't in fucking charge. The Republican former president is not and was not and has not been in charge for the past 4 years. He has not been able to do anything. He doesn't make policy. He has no ability to shut down the government. He has no ability to start up the government. He is just another citizen. At any point in time, her and Joe Biden have been able to shut down the border anytime that they want to. What is she going to do whenever she becomes president? The same thing that she's been doing the whole time that she's been vice president. Not a damn thing. Tiddly squat. She like I said, she's got the same earrings. She's being fed these tales.
Don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill. And you know why? Because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And he has put his personal political security before border security. Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support to folks who care about this issue. And this again gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people? Right. Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that that bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected president.
See, she lost her narrative. She lost the entire crowd. If people in that crowd actually believed a single damn word that she was saying, yeah, so what has she done in 3.5 years? Introduce a bill whenever you're damn, you don't have to. You can shut down the damn border anytime you want to. Anytime that you want to. You had the ability to shut down the border, but did you? At any point in time, you can round up every damn illegal in this country and send them right the hell back. You can change that policy in a snap of the finger. Never answered a question. Never answered this guy's question at all. What are you going to do for the border? I'm just going to reintroduce a bill. I mean, you're just as bad as the Mexican president. We're going to use hugs, not slugs. God. Yeah, he is about to fix the problem. Right. That is right. Just about to fix the damn problem. It does. This is so just. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that they haven't figured this crap out. Okay, do this. Crazy camel toe. Okay. I do. I have to cleanse the palate. I have to cleanse the palate. Give me a second. There's only one way to cleanse your palate properly. This will work right here. Look. Oh. Does that not make you happy? See? Yeah? No? Does that work? Yeah. Oh God. Oh man. I had to give you guys something to cleanse just a little bit. Just a little bit. Here we go. I got this one. All right. I had to cleanse your palate just for a minute, right? Because I'm going to bring some more in here for you. Here it goes.
In San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration...
And you heard that right. The Biden-Harris administration wouldn't let him release any information on the SIA arrest. Oprah should have stood up at the end and said, you get an illegal alien, you get an illegal alien, you get an illegal alien, everyone gets an illegal alien. She'll hire them. Don't worry, she'll hire every damn one of them.
Was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through in mass. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents. Wow. To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis.
Imagine that. You've got former Chief Patrol Agent, U.S. Customs Border Protection, telling you exactly what they were doing in San Diego County. That they were flying illegals. Good morning, Jariah. Good to see you. They were flying illegals across the country, out of San Diego, into Texas. They weren't sending them home. No. We were keeping them stateside. Why would you do that? Why would Joe Biden lie about this? Well, because that's their MO. That's their modus operandi, is to, 150,000 a flight. And the people of California were paying for that. But here, take it from Nancy Pelosi's mouth herself. Listen to what Nancy has to say about camel toe.
You had reportedly said you wanted a sort of an open primary if Joe Biden stepped down. Did you change your mind because you saw all the excitement around Kamala Harris?
No, I didn't change my mind. We had an open primary and she won it. Nobody else got in the race.
Because they couldn't. She was not primaried at all. And this is Gaslight 101. It's like, you serious? What?
Because she was politically astute and
you had reported.
And even the reporters just sitting there going, what? There was no open primary. Nobody voted for her. She is being forced down your throat just like she forces everything else down her throat. That it's as basic as that. It's hard for people to understand this, but does it matter to them? Hell no. It's going to be a constant lie. It's going to be a constant lie, constant stream of BS that you're going to be hearing. I mean, here, look at this. This lady right here, Springfield City Commission meeting, August 29th, 2023.
Ride my bike everywhere, and I'm going to tell you what, you got a lot of mad people. You got people that are upset, and they want answers. But I watched them come in on buses. I don't know how we got them here. I don't know who's responsible. Did we become a sanctuary city? The people want to know. You got 4,000. Do we have any more? Did we vote on being a sanctuary city? Yes or no? No. No. Good. Because you've got a problem. We're not taking any more. We're not taking people who are kicking out people out of their houses, that are driving erratically around town.
Stop this meeting if you start doing that. Who's busting
Listen, hang on.
You're out of order. Please.
I want to know who's busting them in. Who's responsible for that, and who can stop them from coming? We have a lot of people here. There is a lot of stores, since all this has happened, have had to put things in place to keep the theft down. I don't feel like I should have to go to Walmart or Kroger's and ask somebody just to get some deodorant out of a cabinet that is now locked. I have to get it out, go pay for it, and finish doing what I'm doing. That's wrong. It has never been that way. And now all of a sudden it is. Who's bringing them in? So I'm asking the question, I've been recognized, that we have in place. We have to follow certain rules. If we drive without a license, we're going to jail. Yeah. These people are getting a slap on the wrist saying, oh, it's okay. What'd they do to the person that hit the church the other day? Not a damn thing.
There you go. That's what they're doing. It's here. Need a palate cleanser. That's all. I just need a palate cleanser. Just enjoy. Just a happy palate cleanser. Because nothing can be cuter than that. You know? And points for the guy in fishing shirt. Yes. I love it, Zach. You noticed that fishing shirt. I love it. See, this is what you need. Deep breath. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. Okay. I really don't want to cover this next story, but I have to. Just be aware that if you see my channel go down today, this is why. Mm, 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 mm. New genetic analysis of animals in the Wuhan market in 2019 may help find COVID-19's origin. I want you to think about this. This headline that you're seeing right here. How many hearings did we have over this? How many times did they call in Fauci, Mr. Jibby Jab, Mr. Double Mask, Triple Mask, whatever the hell his name was? And they kept saying we figured out where this came from. It wasn't some market in Wuhan. Where did this come from? Oh, it's because we were doing these tests in a lab in Wuhan. Okay? The whole world freaking knows this. So why are they talking about a market in Wuhan whenever they said none of those animals are there? I find it funny that all these celebrities endorse camel toe and their families endorse Trump. I know. Is this recent? Yes. Yes, this right here was written on September 19th, 2024. It was written yesterday evening. Really? Because we know that it didn't come from some market in Wuhan. They said it came from some bats, and those bats were never in Wuhan. It's like a place that's nowhere near it. Oh, that explains it. Look who wrote it. Maria Cheng. How would you want to bet she's Chinese national? And why in the hell is this out of London? Why aren't they writing out of China? Scientists searching for the origins of COVID-19 have zeroed in on a short list of animals that possibly help spread it to people, an effort they hope could allow them to trace the outbreak back to its source. We know where the source is from. They were doing testing in Wuhan at the viral clinic there, being funded by United States tax dollars. Everybody knows this. It has been beat to death that we know where the shit came from. We know how it got started. And yet they're testing animals to figure out where it came from. Researchers analyzed genetic material gathered from the Chinese market where the first outbreak was detected and found that most likely animals were raccoon dogs, civet cats, and baboon rats. Really? Fauci once said you could have AIDS living on the same house. Yeah. They also wanted you to wear masks at that point in time, too. The spit that flew in the eyeball of a monkey from a pangola at the wet market, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, don't be surprised me covering this right here gets some sort of little mark on my thing, because this is bullshit. They thought that these animals were brought to the market in late November of 2019, which then triggered the pandemic. Just miraculously, all of a sudden, there was a pandemic. Oh. Really? Really? So how did this happen? It didn't. That's the problem. This is back bullshit. One of the new studies are authors. Well, who's this Michael Warraby? Let's see. Let's find out who Michael Warraby is. Let's just give a search in ecology and evolutionary biology. Okay. Well, let's University of Arizona is where he's from. So he's from your neck of the woods out there. He's a head professor, department head professor. Head ecology evolutionary biology, University of Arizona, 2015 to present. And he was also professor ecology evolutionary biology in 2011 present. Associate professor in Arizona, postdoctoral research at St. John's College, University of Oxford, 2001 to 2003. Dr. Phil, Department of Zoology, University of Oxford, 2001. And Department of Biology Sciences, Simon Fraser University. Looks like he's just a lecturer. He taps into genomes of viruses. SARS-CoV-2 shed a light on how the virus originated, ignited in China, emerged and took hold in North America. Current research in genetic epidemiology and the pandemic preparedness and prevention. So he's College of Science. Okay. So he's just a professor. This is him right here. Michael Warraby, department head professor. Okay. Sterling Prize in Support of Controversy. What? Distinguished alumnus, Department of Biological Science, Simon Fraser University. He's just been a speaker, National Academy of Science Frontiers, Science Valley Fellow. Well, let's see. What was he doing in 2018? He was a lecturer at the University of Victoria. Lansdowne lecturer. 2018 Genomics, Genetics and Evolution Conference, Cambridge, UK. Keynote speaker. Who is the hell is this? Research professorship. This is all about funding. Yeah. Did we find the link in the market? Yep, it's Fauci. Which subpopulation of animals may have, but we know that that's not true. That may help researchers pinpoint where the virus community commonly circulates in animals, but that's the thing. The raccoon dogs can show that raccoon dogs that were at the market were from subspecies that circulates more southern parts in China. And this is not a polarized and political debate, because we already know that it came from a damn research lab in China. Exactly. We know where this came from. We know what happened. Gain of function was going on in a research lab in China, being funded by the United States in its tax dollars. Mark Woolhouse, a professor of infectious diseases at the University of Edinburgh, said a new genetic analysis suggests the pandemic had its evolutionary roots in the market. If I look into Mark Woolhouse, I guarantee you that he's probably got some sort of funding also. And here's where it is. There is where you go. An expert group led by the WHO concluded in 21 that the virus probably spread to humans from animals and that the lab leak was extremely unlikely in 21. In 2022, that changed. And in 2023, they knew for certain that it had come from this lab in China. It's premature to rule the lab leak. to rule out the lab leak. Later said that it was premature to rule it out. And even later than that, it became very clear where this happened. They found that, of course, AP investigation. Yeah, if you look at who AP is funded by, you'll know that this is bullshit. After political infighting and missed opportunities by local and global health officials to narrow the possibilities, scientists say they may never know for sure where exactly the virus came from. Really? We know where the damn thing came from. Everybody knows where the damn thing came from, except for idiots that listen to the AP with this crap. The new study published Thursday in the journal Cell. Okay, what is the journal Cell? Well, here, why don't we look and see who runs this? Journal Cell. Why don't we look for Cell Press? Okay. Let's look at Journal Cell. Except all cookies. Let's see. What do we know about this is called Cell Press? Why don't we look and see what they're talking about here? Let me see. Molecular fun. Oh boy. I don't know if you want to see I don't know if you want to see this. I don't think I want to show this. I really don't. This is creepy. Do you know what? I've figured out what this journal is all about. I've figured out what this journal is all about. This journal is pushing stem cell research. That's what they're all about. Well, let's see what their sustainability hub is. What is their sustainability hub? Oh, let's see. Impact of plastic pollution, the Paris Agreement goals. There it is. Accelerating scientific process on sustainable proteins. Sustainable proteins. Printed food. Bugs. Voices on Fire, Rick. Collection on Living with Fire. Focus on energy system decarbonization. Lithium, gathering clouds or the sun breaking through. Current biology, restoration from the editor's desk. Cell symposium. Oh, look. Look. Look who's here. Shansang Zhang. Yeah, this is Cell. This is who's doing the research. Chinese scientists and editor at One Earth. So what if you look up One Earth? What is One Earth about? One Earth is about the green energy. So this group that's writing this about the pandemic. This group right here, the scientists for this are Chinese scientists. Do you think that they want to say, yeah, it came from a lab in Wuhan? The US and Australia analyzed data previously released by experts at the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention. So they're basically just regurgitating each other's shit. It's like the human centipede for scientists. I love it. They published genetic sequences they found last year, but did not identify any of the animals possibly infected with the COOF. In the new analysis, researchers used a technique that can identify specific organisms from any mixture of genetic material collected in the environment. There's no question it was circulating at that market, which was full of animals. The question still remains is how it got there in the first place. Right there. Mm-hmm. So you're being lied to some more. Gotta love it. Got to love it. I don't know what to say. I really I'm just flabbergasted. There we go. Please let it rain through. Let it rain through. Let it succumb to the cuteness. Much better. It's a baby peacock. The baby peacock. I'm going to go grab some more coffee. That's what I need right now. I just need some more coffee. I'll be right back. Enjoy the song. See you in a couple.
Sandy shores get a tan. Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, oh man, Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to effing see. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is that is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Otters in
Yes. More caffeine. More caffeine. Yes. Rambo. Does the orangutan have a name? Yes, Rambo is his name. Rambo was his name. Oh. That's just so adorable there. It calms my soul. Okay. Back to this. Let's see. Well, what happened in Kentucky? As some of you people don't know, in Kentucky, a judge in rural Kentucky County was shot and deleted in his courthouse chambers Thursday, and the local sheriff was charged with the murder in the slaying. A preliminary investigation indicates I think that's Letcher County, or it could be Lecter County. It's been a while. Sheriff Sean M. Steins shot the district judge, Kevin Mullins, multiple times following an argument inside the courthouse. According to the Kentucky State Police, Mullins, who held the judgeship for 15 years, died at the scene. Steins surrendered without incident. The fatal pew-pewing in Whitesburg sent shockwaves through the tight-knit Appalachian town and county seat government, with about 1,700 residents located about 145 miles southeast of Lexington. The lead prosecutor, Matt Butler, described an outpouring of sympathy as he recused himself and his office from investigations in the pew-pewing, citing social and family ties to the Mullins. Oh, it's just getting out of hand over here. That like button is looking so Oh, it needs a warm touching, a massage, gentle massage. We all know each other over here. Anyone from Lecter County would tell you that Judge Mullins and I married sisters and that we have children who are first cousins but act like siblings. Butler said in a statement, for that reason, among others, I already have taken steps to recuse myself and my entire office. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman said his office will collaborate with the Commonwealth's attorney at the region as special prosecutors in a criminal case. We will fully investigate and pursue justice. Kentucky Supreme Court Justice Lawrence B. Van Meter said he was shocked by this act of violence and the court system was shaken by this news. Mullins, 54, was hit multiple times in the pew-pewing. Kentucky State Police said Steins, 43, was charged with one count of first-degree murder. The investigation is continuing, police said. It was unclear whether Steins had an attorney. Responding to the shooting, Governor Beshear said the local media post is far too much violence in this world, and I pray there's a path to a better tomorrow. Okay. Mullins was known for promoting substance abuse treatment for people involved in the justice system and helped hundreds of residents enter inpatient residential treatment. According to a program for a drug summit he spoke in 2022, he also helped develop a program called Addiction Recovery Care. Do peer support services in the courthouse. The program was adopted in at least 50 counties in Kentucky. Mullins also served as founding member of the responsive effort to support treatment and opioid recovery efforts leadership team. After the shooting, several area schools were placed in lockdown. Why? He was nowhere near the damn school. It's just like he was in the courthouse. You maybe lock down the courthouse. That would have been an idea. I'm my own grandpa. That's just what I heard. Could be. Could be. Please, coffee. Drink some coffee. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, newcomers. Welcome. I'm glad you could be here. So this is pretty bad. Too much violence in the world. Too much violence. All they needed to do to stop the violence was just look at a happy little peacock. Just that's all you needed. If you wanted it. If that sheriff would have just taken a moment and looked at the finer things in life, do you think he still would have pulled that trigger? No. Like if this little guy just got right up in his face and said, Mr. Police Officer, don't pull that trigger. Don't pull it. It'll be okay. Do you think he would have done it? Do you think he would have just reached out and petted this little adorable fluff ball? Huh? Maybe not. Oh my gosh. But this is the buildup. This is the buildup of something that I covered yesterday, and it's really important that we play this because it goes to show exactly where we're headed with this kind of crap. Because this was what yesterday. This is what I talked about yesterday, right here. Okay, very, very important. What I talked about yesterday.
I will take a moment to say I have been asked by a few of you today to apologize to Trump or Republicans, depending on the speaker, for sharing a picture of a sign that was put up in Tucson last week. I find it completely hypocritical for you to demand of me what you don't of your candidate for president. I'll make you a deal. I'll acknowledge wrongdoing when Trump apologizes for the racist, misogynistic, sexist, inflammatory comments he's made about women, people of color, LGBTQ, immigrants, and frankly, anyone who disagrees with him or isn't one of his fans. The next 49 days are going to be very trying for our community, and we'll have a lot of healing to do after the election. In the future, I'll commit to pausing before sharing posts that might incite the kind of harassment and threatening comments and messages from people mostly outside of my district and outside of the state of Arizona.
So this right here, I showed yesterday of this person absolutely lambasting because they don't like the president, don't like him, don't want to have anything to do with him. He's a bad man. So why would the AP all of a sudden today have this story? Ohio sheriff condemned for saying people with Harris signs should have their addresses. Oh, is this true? So what about a government official, someone that is sitting on their board, starts condemning people because of their preferences? So let's see, what exactly happened here? An Ohio sheriff is under fire for a social media post in which he said people with camel toe Harris signs should have their addresses recorded so that illegals can be sent to live with them. Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. It had nothing to do with that they should have their addresses posted or anybody should go after them. He was making a point. His point was, hey, if you're a sanctuary city and you're so supportive of these illegals, then why don't you post your address and we will send every single one of them to come over to your house and live. Wow. So he wasn't condemning, he was making a point. It's called satire, I think. Being facetious. He's being a dick. He's trolling them. Can be sent to live with them if the Democrat wins the presidency. Good Government's group called it a threat and urged him to remove the post. It's not a threat. It's a question. Why don't you post your address up there? Hey, you think it's okay to open up our borders and allow illegals in? Well, how about we send them to your home? Why don't we send them to your home? Let you deal with them. Instead of us providing food and shelter, why don't you provide food and shelter? Well, Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zukowski, a Republican in the thick of his own re-election campaign, posted a screenshot of a Fox News segment that criticized Joe Biden and Camel Toe over their immigration record and the impact on small communities like Springfield, Ohio, where an influx of illegals, Haitian illegals, have caused political furor in the presidential campaign. But they haven't. Like, it's just showing you the proof. You know, here's the thing that is aggravating to me is you've got Democrats that go, well, there's no proof that there's problems with illegal immigration. Okay, so we'll send them to Martha's Vineyard. Why are they here? Within 24 hours, they had their bags packed and they were gone off of Martha's Vineyard. Oh, we're a sanctuary city. Okay. Oh, here's all of our illegals. We're going to bus them right to you. Here you go. We're overburdened. Uh-huh. Yeah. And so what's your point? So you're saying that Texas should be overburdened, that Arizona should be overburdened, that New Mexico, that Colorado? Do you think these communities should have to bear the brunt of this? But yet you want to say, oh, no, everything's fine on the border until they all show up in New York City and they've pretty much are being paid to stay in some of the finest hotels. Likening people in the U.S. illegally to human locusts, Zukowski wrote on a personal Facebook account and his campaign's account, when people ask me what's going to happen if the flip-flopping, laughing hyena wins, I say, write down all the addresses of the people who had her signs posted in their yard. That way, Zukowski, when illegals need a place to live, will already have the addresses of their new families who supported their arrival. Wow. I see nothing wrong with what he said. Every single person that's supporting it is basically saying, I'm okay with that. So why not give them what they want? Well, and of course, the local Democrats, they filed complaints with the Ohio Secretary of State and other agencies. And the American Civil Liberties Union of Ohio wrote to Zukowski that he had made an unconstitutional, impermissible threat against residents who wanted to display political yard signs. No, he didn't. There was no threat there whatsoever. Are you saying illegals are a threat now? That would be my question. That would be my response. Like, what? Are you saying that the illegals are a threat? Because that sounds very racist to me. You guys might want to get that checked. That's what I'd be telling them. Just why not? Many residents understood the September 13th post to be a threat of governmental action to punish them for their expressed political beliefs. No, that's not a threat. A threat would be that you're threatening people with something. You're not that. Are you saying that they're a threat now? Are you saying illegals are a threat? Is that what you're saying? Huh? Democrats? Is that what you're saying? Illegals are a threat? So where would the threat be? He's just wanting to make sure that you get what you want. He's offering you the best opportunity to adopt a family from Venezuela, or maybe a couple of cartel members, something like that. But he's offering these people to you on. I mean, you should be willing to just add extra signs up there and say illegals welcome here. It's not a threat unless you're saying that illegals are a threat. I mean, can't have it both ways. Oh, Kate Broom, thank you for becoming a new member. So awesome. I find it amazing that they don't get that. And felt coerced to take down their signs or refrain from putting them up. No, he's offering you free labor. Like, who else is going to come in and take care of your cats for you? I mean, you too can have your own Haitian family, and you don't have to worry about Fluffy or Fido. They'll be fine. And they might even share a Christmas goose with you. You never know. Why are you getting so upset about it? Republican Governor Mike DeWine, meanwhile, called Zukowski's comments unfortunate, not helpful. Zukowski defended himself in a follow-up post this week, saying he was exercising his own right to free speech, and that his comments may have been a little misinterpreted. Yeah. He said voters can choose whomever they want for president, but then have to accept responsibility for their actions. Yeah. Zukowski, a supporter of Donald Trump, spent 26 years in the Ohio State Highway Patrol, including a stint as assistant post commander. He joined the sheriff's office as a part-time deputy before his election to the top job in 2020. He's running for re-election as the chief law enforcement officer of Portage County in Northeast Ohio, about an hour outside of Cleveland. The sheriff did not immediately respond to a request for comment Thursday. His opponent in the November election, John Barber, said Zukowski's post constituted voter intimidation, undermined faith in law enforcement. Welcome to the nut farm. It's so true. Our office has determined the sheriff's comment. Oh, let me get his voice right. Our office has determined the sheriff's comments don't violate election laws, said Dan Luschek, a spokesperson for the Republican Secretary of State of Frank LaRose. Elected officials are accountable to their constitutions, and the sheriff can answer for himself about the substance of his remarks. In other words, I'm just going to run away from this one. This one's not special. And of course, that did not sit well with the League of Women Voters. Yeah, they're the League of Women Voters. They're this small independent group of social Karens. They like to sit around and sip their wine, and they get very upset whenever people are saying things that they shouldn't. Remind me to never do that again. Good God Almighty! Just spit coffee out my nose. Oh God. Did you fall? No, I spit coffee out and about choked on it by doing that slurp. I won't do that again. Man, step away for a second and come back. There's some sort of nonsense happening that I missed. Snorkeled your coffee? Yes, snorkeled it. Oh, yeah, there I am. Two of the league's chapters in Portage County wrote to LaRose on Thursday that this inaction had left voters feeling abandoned and vulnerable. The league invited LaRose to come to Portage County to talk to residents. We're just calling on Secretary LaRose to reassure voters of the integrity of the electoral process. Sherry Rose, president of the League of Women Voters of Kent. I was going to say something else, but there should have been a you in there. Said in a phone interview, she said the league has gotten reports that some people with Harris yard signs have been harassed since Zukowski's post. He just likes the way it smells. Oh, God. Worst way to die. Death by coffee. Wrong way. Oh, that's definitely not how to enjoy the aroma of coffee. It's so tasty. Who wants nose bubbles? Colombian coffee. Oh, God. Oh. You guys are awesome. Yes, yes. Oh, some people with Harris yard signs have been harassed in Zukowski's post. Well, gotta harass somebody. I mean,
he's an asshole. Look at his haircut. Anybody with a haircut like that, you know he's an asshole.
Hey, Rosalind.
Hello.
This morning.
How are you?
Good. Good. How are you?
It's chaos over here. I've got a dog that's got a critter trapped, and then the other one just spilled coffee all over me. I'm like, well, it's Friday.
Well, it wasn't me. I spilled it over myself. I tried doing this slurp, and it just it hit the back of my throat. It was like,
Must be something going around.
Oh, well, I have been a little bit under the weather. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. This is, but I mean, the news this morning has just been busting me up. I've been laughing at all of this stuff.
I know, it's wild. No, it's like a poorly written novel about some post-apocalyptic world where the Three Stooges are in charge.
Well, that's why I have the partridge, the what was it? Peacock. Yes, that's why I have the baby peacock there. It really calms the soul. I'm going to add that as one of my things there, the little baby peacock, because that just is. Every time I see something that's like really just stupid and ridiculous, I'm going to have that playing.
It really is adorable.
It is. Georgia election rule changes by Trump allies raise fears of chaos in November. Now, yesterday, whenever I first read this, it was saying the Georgia election rule changes by Trump raises fear of chaos in November. But they came back and they added in the allies. Atlanta, 4 years ago, Georgia was the center of Donald Trump's attempts to overturn his loss to Democrat Joe Biden. Democrats worry that Trump is at it again, even before the first votes have been cast. turmoil springs from a takeover of the election board earlier this year. Trump allies after Republican lawmakers yanked the Secretary of State. Yeah, like yanked. They were just like, oh, yes, come on, Secretary of State, let's milk that. Who had resisted Trump's efforts. This is like a totally badly written thing. To subvert the election in 2020 off the panel, the new majority started making election rule changes that have alarmed Democrats, legal experts, and democracy advocates. Oh my God, it would be amazing if Trump and half the power Democrats. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It would be amazing if he had any. It's amazing to me that Trump has all this power that they claim he has, that without being anything but a private citizen is able to control an election. So what are they saying? The party's state director of voter protection in 2020 said hindering a final statewide tally may not even be the Republicans' goal. But that's not what this is about. All this does, all that they've done is they said we're going to make sure that voter fraud, which we already know was happening. We don't know the extent of it because we weren't allowed to investigate this. We weren't allowed to talk about it. It was, you'll be silenced by the media if you even speak of this. And what is it? It's not about whether they're successful in stopping certification. It's about injecting enough confusion to the process. You have a significant segment of the population that will not accept the results. I think they're going to meet the goal regardless of what these judicial opinions say. Despite widespread criticism, the board is scheduled to consider nearly a dozen additional rules when it meets Friday. Hey, so what are the rules that they're going to be introducing? You have any idea? Well, rules that they're going to be introducing is you have to show proof of ID. You have to show proof of resident. That you have to do specific things. If you're going to do a mail-in ballot, maybe that it has to be signed and notarized. You have to do a sworn affidavit. Who knows what is in this? Because, well, the AP isn't going to tell you. All probably simple common sense rules that you could have in there. It said the possibility of that happening, pushing the changes, say they're trying to ensure the accuracy of the vote and dismiss concerns about attempts to delay or block certification. We lost Rosalind. Her device got all screwy on us. The controversy playing out in Georgia has national implications, as the presidential race is expected to narrowly decide by voters there and 6 other swing states, disrupting certification of election results. Once a routine process that Trump politicized through his lies about the 2020 election could hinder states' ability to meet deadlines for their electoral votes to be counted. Oh, you mean like they hold back? Like maybe somebody was listening whenever I said, wait until the Democrats have turned in all of their votes. It would be amazing if Trump, yeah. You mean like Clinton denied? Yeah. Well, good morning, Deborah. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Some legal experts say the doomsday scenario of the Republican-dominated local election boards refusing to certify votes and counts preventing Georgia from certifying its totals by an early December deadline remains improbable. How does it ever remain improbable? This is hard. Again, debunked. Yeah. It says because state law and court precedent firmly state that county officials can't unilaterally discard votes, and shall certify by deadlines written into state law, no matter how much local board members might distrust their results. There's no wiggle room for local certifying officials to take matters into their own hands. Their only duties during certification is to sign off on the completeness of the results. So again, bunked. The state board has no direct role in determining the results. Amazing, isn't it? But instead writes rules to ensure that elections run smoothly and hears complaints about violations. Trump's focus on the administrative board shows how battles over voting and ballot counting are a tool that both major parties use to motivate voters in Georgia. Many Democrats say protecting the right to vote is a key issue that particularly motivates Black voters. But it's also a driver for Republicans, as say state Republican Party Chairman Josh McCoon praising the takeover of the board in May. He later emailed proposed rules to board members and then others, including an election integrity advisor at the RNC. Many of the rules come from grassroots Republicans linked to the national web of election integrity advocates, connected to lawyer Coletta Mitchell, who was on a call Trump made in January 21, urging Republican Roethlisberger to help him find. And this right here is what's been going on in Georgia. This is the court case that's being argued in Georgia, because they're claiming that Trump did X, Y, or Z. But if you listen to the phone call, if you actually take the time to listen to the phone call and not just listen to what, some talking head has to say, your dog got another possum. Oh, that's awesome. She's chasing possum. You just make a stew out of it. That's all you got to do. Make some possum stew. If you listen to what that phone call was about, he said, "I don't understand what happened here. What's going on? You've got all these votes that are in. We're in the lead, and then all of a sudden we lose 100 and some odd thousand votes. Like, where did they go? Why don't you find these things and figure out where this deficiency is and look into it? That's your job as Secretary of State. What happened with these deficiencies? Because one minute you're reporting saying that no matter how many votes come in, it's not going to change the outcome of this election. And next thing you know, all of a sudden it's the whole script flipped. Like, that was the question that he asked. Listen to the damn phone call between him and Rathberger, and you'll see exactly what this was about. Don't listen to what the news tells you. Listen to the whole damn phone call. The unedited version, don't get it from ABC, CNN, Fox News, or anything like that. Just go and get that damn call, and you'll hear exactly what he said. To be clear, there was no widespread fraud in Georgia's 2020 elections. There you go. While Atlanta's Fulton County has admitted double scanning some ballots during the recount. Those errors, if anything, benefited Trump. If you're double counting, then it does not do any. No. Georgia's votes for president were counted 3 times, including one by hand, and each affirmed. No, this is a lie. That right there is an absolute bullshit lie. Okay? What they did was they recounted the recount. Like, they were only supposed to count a certain amount. That's what their recount was. A polling number. They didn't recount every single vote. And they were told what they could recount. It was a sample. It wasn't a full vote. Yeah, that was already discussed. Like, this right here is a lie. An absolute lie. The lawsuit. Opponents of the board's majority trying to get Republican Brian Kemp to remove 3 Trump-aligned members alleging ethics violations. The governor so far hasn't acted, as he has no reason to. The mail-in ballots already going out to military and overseas voters say it's too late for new rules. The Georgia Association of Voter Registration election officials has been repeatedly critical of many of the proposed changes, saying they provide little benefit, duplicate efforts have already been required procedures, and invite local boards to refuse to certify results. Aaron Glenn. An official in Butts County, located south of Atlanta, very far south of Atlanta, said she thought it was very irresponsible for the board to be pushing new rules on counties as local governments prepare for an election that could see record turnout. We have a lot to do to prepare, so to implement a new rule right now, we have to stop. Learn that. Flynn said in an interview in a training meeting for election officials last month. It's just too close. It could lead to mistakes, and we don't want to make mistakes. We already have low public confidence as it is, so that can only hurt us. Some Republicans argued that the county official boards can decline to certify election results. A Republican-appointed Fulton County board member is asking the judge to affirm that position in a lawsuit. But court decisions in Georgia and nationwide say officials can't refuse. That has been asked and answered hundreds and hundreds of times over more than a century. Certifying Georgia's statewide vote in November is the job of Rosenberger and Kemp and not the state election board. Rosenberger, a Republican, has repeatedly signaled he will push counties to comply and call their duty to certify very clear and black letter law. We fully expect them to do their job. Yes, you feel better now. You had a shower of the insanity earlier. Rosie, buenos mornings, backbuck. Buck. Oh my God. Oh, I've got more insanity. Don't worry. There is plenty more insanity to go around. There is so much insanity. You're going to be amazed that where in the hell does this idiot get all this stuff from? Well, let's take this guy's word for it right here. Let's take this guy's word for it right here. This will put a smile on your face.
هذه المقاومة محور المقاومة اليوم الجديد فيه منذ سنوات طويلة، وهذا لازم نحفظه جميعا. هو يقاتل بغضب وبعقل، وعليهم أن ينتظروا الأيام والليالي والميدان. بالنسبة إلينا كما كنا نقول سابقا، الآن القرار في يد الميدان، والميدان هو الذي يعرف ظروفه وفرصه، ونحن نبحث عن رد حقيقي وليس عن رد شكلي. وعليهم أن ينتظروا الأيام والليالي والميدان. بالنسبة إلينا كما كنا نقول سابقا، الآن القرار في يد الميدان، والميدان هو الذي يعرف ظروفه، كما يحاول البعض يفلسف الأمور. لا، نحن نبحث عن رد حقيقي وعن فرص حقيقية وعن رد مدروس جدا، وأكتفي بهذا المقدار. نحتفظ لأنفسنا بحق الرد في الزمان والمكان المناسبين؟ لا أبدا، نحن سنرد، هذا محسوم. وعليهم أن ينتظروا الأيام والليالي والميدان. هو يقاتل بغضب وبعقل، يقاتل بغضب وبحكمة وبشجاعة وبجرأة، ويملك القدرة.
Oh, places that one. Oh God. Oh. I saw that. It made me laugh so hard. Oh. Yes. Oh. I love this. I love this right here. I think that this was provided by Elon Musk and of course Ballstorm. I think he thumbed up this thing and it showed up in my feed. FAA leader lacks both aviation and space experience. Polly Trottenberg, 60, studied history in the 80s and has held political appointments in the Senate, as well as the Obama and Biden administrations. Despite having no prior experience in aviation or space, she was appointed to lead the FAA. Instead of addressing critical safety issues like Boeing's, her focus has shifted towards obstructing SpaceX for political reasons. And somebody mentioned something about illegals earlier. Didn't I hear that? Illegals in the UK. Oh, well, we've got something for you. There you go.
I'm going to tell you something that nobody in Westminster and the corridors of power are going to tell you. Britain is being invaded. Since 2018, more than 135,000 people have entered Britain illegally, enough to fill a city the size of Exeter. And they're joining more than 1.2 million people who have entered the country illegally, enough to fill a city the size of Birmingham. Now, if you look at Home Office data, 70% of all people coming over on the small boats crossing the Channel are young men. And they're coming mainly from Muslim countries: Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Turkey, Eritrea. This invasion is undermining our laws. This invasion is undermining our community. It's costing us billions of pounds. And most importantly, it's putting the British people and our children at risk. Some of the people coming over are genuine refugees, but many are not. A not insignificant number are going on to murder, rape, sexually assault, and abuse British people. I think it's high time somebody called this out, because that's what the British people deserve: honesty and respect. Now, throughout history, Britain has always fought off invasions. We're one of only a few countries that has not been successfully invaded for about 1,000 years. So why is it that we can't stop this one? Well, the answer is many of the people in the expert class, the politicians, the journalists, the academics, the civil servants, they don't want to stop this invasion. They're fully invested in the status quo. I don't think that's good enough. My name's Matt Goodwin. I'm an academic. I'm a writer. I'm part of a community of more than 50,000 people at Matt Goodwin's Substack who are fed up and frustrated with this status quo. We want change, and we want it now. So over the next few minutes, what I'm going to do is show you why this invasion is taking place, how it's taking place. I'm going to show you how we got into this mess, why we're still in this mess. But most importantly of all, I'm not just going to complain. I'm going to give you a credible, compelling answer to this invasion. I'm going to tell you, because nobody in Westminster is going to tell you, how we stop it, how we end it, because that's what the British people deserve. They deserve respect, they deserve decency, they deserve honesty. So let's begin. Welcome to Calais, France. This is where the invasion begins. The people who enter Britain illegally have already passed through multiple safe countries like this one. France is a safe country. They are not facing immediate peril, they're not in immediate danger, and they have no right to enter our country illegally. So why do they want to come to the UK? Because, if I'm being honest with you, we're a soft touch. We give them welfare, we give them housing, we give them money, we give them a low wage, low skill, Deliveroo economy where they can find work. We embrace them with open arms, so more of them come. Now, some people say, well, if we were in the European Union, it would be easier to stop this invasion. But that's nonsense. Those people don't know what they're talking about. Under the so-called Dublin Convention, more refugees and illegal migrants were transferred into Britain than were transferred out. And look across the European Union today. Does it really look like the EU has got its arms around this crisis? Germany, Italy, and others are doing all they can to get around EU laws and regulations so they can deport dangerous criminals from Afghanistan and Syria who are murdering, raping, and assaulting their citizens. Why?
Amazing, huh? Well, it's not like they're going to give their legal citizens self-defense weapon back. They've made them soft. Yes. And this is very, very interesting that this guy is saying, hey, this can easily be stopped. And the same way in the United States, this can easily be stopped. But it takes more than just that. Hey, criminals are people too. Come on, man. Yeah, they totally are. Not saying that they aren't.
Why are they doing that? Because some of these people are genuine refugees, but
Yes.
quite a few of them hate who we are.
And he's not incorrect there. Like this is the thing. Whenever they talk, this is why the AP and other news organizations have followed along on this trend of calling illegals migrants or immigrants without papers, because some people actually are really refugees. They are running from a very horrible situation, and they should be able to go through regular processes of going to the border, showing their papers, saying, listen, I'm here seeking political asylum because of my political beliefs, whatever that might be. And they're actually fearing for their lives because, well, like they could become political prisoners. But there's a process that we go about doing that. But whenever it's overwhelmed, it becomes a real problem of people that are claiming to need asylum where they should have stopped in one country along the way of the 2 or 3 that they traveled through. All of a sudden, it's just like, well, we're political refugees. Well, then stay in that country that you just crossed into. Really, really, really easy to handle this. They come here by the millions compared to the thousands. Yeah, but you're also talking about a different size country. Still puts a strain on both countries.
So what about the French? Well, they could stop this crisis. They could stop this invasion overnight if they really wanted to. Look around. 6 or 7 beaches just like this one is where the gangs are operating, where the boats are leaving from. We know where they are, we know how they work, and we know where they're heading. The White Cliffs of Dover just over there. England just over there. And the French, they could stop this crisis if they really wanted to. They could put buoys in the sea to disrupt the boats. They could flood these beaches with police and the army. But they don't want the migrants back. Even when they find them in French waters, they turn them towards the UK. So look, this is not just about border control. It's not just about maritime law. This is about politics. You, the British taxpayer, are paying the French hundreds of millions of pounds every year to stop an invasion they are failing to stop, with a police force that is specifically dedicated to this issue. So listen, we have to stop looking to the French for an answer. We're going to have to find an answer for ourselves.
There's the cliffs of Dover.
Back. Well, it's not that simple. In Australia, the more seaworthy boats are in international waters, which makes it easier for Australia to deal with the crisis. It's not like this. This is a complex shipping lane. It's a patchwork of UK and French waters. In Australia, politicians did what...
Well, and here's the thing. There is already a chain of agreements. It's really weird how that works. There is a chain of agreements already. That's international law that's been put forward on how, and this is something that was set forward with the UN decades ago. That if you're seeking political asylum, if you're seeking any of that stuff because your country is falling apart, you're supposed to go to the nearest border. And they don't have to let you in, but once they let you in, you should be able to claim asylum there in that particular country. The only problem is they're putting them in buses and shipping them across the country and sending them to the United States. I think that the United States could really do something remarkable here and just keep shipping them on up. Send them up to Canada, where Canada says we welcome these people. And then what Canada can do is say, you know what? We've got all this space up here, and we'll just send them up back to the United States up in Alaska. Let them make the trip. Section 4, Republican form of government, the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republic form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion, not a democracy. Exactly.
Needed to be done. They passed tough laws. They changed the constitution. They created a watertight legal regime. They're processing illegal migrants offshore. So journalists, activists, campaigners, they can't get anywhere near them because migrants are being dealt with outside of the judicial system in Australia. Here it's completely different, and the people smugglers know that. They know we're not going to let people drown in the channel because that would be breaking international law. So we go and we pick them up and we bring them back to the UK. And so what happens is the gangs, the illegal migrants, the boats, they just keep on coming. So now the small boats have arrived in the UK, and everybody who's arrived on them has arrived illegally. Right. They've left the safe country of France. They've destroyed their paperwork on the way. They're in unseaworthy vessels. They've left from an unauthorized point. Now, because France won't take them back, and because many of them come from what we call unsafe countries, the last government came up with something called the Rwanda Plan. The idea was simple and correct. Anybody who arrives in Britain illegally will not be allowed to stay in Britain. They will be sent to Rwanda and have their claims processed there. This is like Australia had an active deterrent with Christmas Island. The only problem is that Rishi Sunak's Rwanda plan wasn't watertight. In order to make it work, it had to be able to override things like the European Convention on Human Rights and Tony Blair's Human Rights Act. Rishi Sunak's plan didn't do that. The Conservatives were never tough enough on this issue. And so as a result, even if they'd won the election, the illegal migrants sent to Rwanda would have used the courts and activist lawyers to file legal claim after legal claim and stop themselves being sent to Rwanda. What happens next? Well, the Conservatives lose the election, Labour come in, and they remove the Rwanda plan.
Yeah. So, no different than what happened here in the United States. As Trump is building a border wall, it's not going to stop people from coming across, but it slows them down. It slows the flow where you can get control of it. And if anyone is found in the United States, them back to wherever, if they came across the southern border, the northern border, east, the west, doesn't matter. Send them back that direction. Not a hard concept to do, but that's not what's happened. Because as soon as Trump lost that election, what was Biden running on? We'll let you in. Said it multiple times during the debates. To the liberal version of Americans, it was trying to be safe. They don't want people lives being lost. There's a whole other part of trafficking that is willing for willing participants where they can pay to get around the waiting list for a green card, like black market travel agents. Exactly. This is an issue in the United States.
So now we have no active deterrent. We're all the way back to step one. We have no way of discouraging people from making the journey. We have no serious plan for smashing the gangs. Public trust is collapsing. Public confidence is collapsing. You might as well go to the White Cliffs of Dover and put a big neon sign on them saying, Britain is open for business, come on in. The conservative thinker Thomas Sowell once said, immigration laws are the only laws that are ever discussed in terms of how to help people break them. And that is exactly what the Labour Party and the Labour government are now doing. They're talking about immigration laws in terms of how to help illegal migrants break them. And you know who suffers from that the most? It isn't the politicians in Westminster. It's you, the British people.
British
Welcome
people.
to Britain's newest luxury resort. Only you're not invited, unless
Man,
that is you
person.
happen to have broken into the country illegally. It's hotels and accommodation like this that are costing the British taxpayer upwards of £8 million a day, costing the British taxpayer upwards of £7 billion a year. That's how much this crisis is costing us. To put that in perspective, that's enough for 200,000 nurses' salaries for a year, or 200,000 police officers' salaries for a year. This is where deportations go to die, where hotel chains like Britannia are making upwards of £100 million from this crisis, and where law firms up and down the country are also gaming the system, making an entire industry out of this invasion. They blame the Home Office for delays, but then they file legal claim after legal claim, judicial review after judicial review to stop us from removing these people from our country. They're undermining our national sovereignty. They're undermining the safety of the British people. Now, let me be straight with you. We're funding an invasion of our own country. We're paying the French. We're bringing the migrants in. We're giving them housing. We're giving their children a place in the education system, free school meals. We're giving them a phone. We're giving them a cash card. We're giving them eye tests, dental care. We're giving them welfare support. Even the French are saying we're a soft touch, and that's why they're still coming. We're giving them legal aid. We're allowing them to undermine our laws. And I think when the British people look at this, they think this is absolutely crazy. And the truth of the matter is governments on both the left and the right have created this mess. This is all our own doing. And even worse, we're funding the charities and the lobbyists who are actually undermining this system by wanting to keep the status quo and then threatening to sue the government when people say, actually, we'd like a strong border. And I think those people have had enough. Welcome to the Supreme Court, a creation of New Labour in the 2000s and another roadblock to keeping you, the British people, safe and secure in your own country. Now, look, the lawyers, the courts would ultimately have to respect any laws that are made in Parliament, and it's in Parliament where we're going to fix this mess. But many of the laws that have been passed in that building behind me are full of exceptions, compromises, and loopholes that have allowed an activist legal class in the courts to put international laws and conventions ahead of the national community and the national interest. So who is ultimately responsible for this invasion, this disaster? It isn't the people on the boats. It isn't even the gangs who are smuggling them. And it isn't the hardworking, tax-paying British people. It's the politicians over there, the people who have forgotten that they derive their power, their authority and their legitimacy, not from elites in other countries, but from the British people. They could stop this invasion tomorrow if they really wanted to. They could pass those tough laws tomorrow if they really wanted to. They could respect you, the British people, if they really wanted to. Much like they threw everything that the state has to solve another major national crisis, the COVID pandemic. But they don't want to solve this crisis because this isn't just about policy. This is also about an elite class that now pursues policies like mass immigration and open borders to win applause and a sense of moral righteousness among other elites, while experiencing very few costs for themselves, but imposing enormous costs on everybody else. It isn't going to be their kids who are raped and sexually assaulted by illegal migrants, and it isn't going to be their communities that are torn apart and upended by a policy that nobody in this country ever voted for.
There it is.
And now we're seeing the same old song and dance from a new radical Labour government, which is talking about fast-tracking asylum claims and removing people from the country. But we've seen all of this before, haven't we?
Yep.
Nobody thinks Labour's plan for smashing the gangs is going to work because we're going to have to rely on other countries to help us do that. And as we've seen, we can't rely on other people to help us stop this invasion. And the moment you smash one gang, another one just pops up to fill its place. Becomes a game of whack-a-mole. And I've yet to meet anybody in the immigration system, the border system, who thinks that Labour's plan is going to work. So with soft laws and no active deterrent, the small boats are still coming in record numbers, and they'll continue to come in record numbers. The border force is overwhelmed. We haven't got enough detention spaces because governments in the past didn't prepare for this. At the same time, the Home Office isn't working as an effective government department. It's lost control of this crisis. And then we've got an activist legal profession which is exploiting our soft laws, exploiting the status quo to stop us from deporting foreign nationals and getting our arms around this crisis. In fact, many lawyers and courts are hoping the Home Office will let most of the illegal migrants stay, which they do. And the more of them who stay, the more of them who come. And round we go. So what have we seen? We've seen a system that's in crisis. We've seen an elite class that's no longer representing or even respecting the British people. We've seen a country that's coming undone. So what would I do to stop this invasion? Here's what I'd do. I'd reform or repeal Tony Blair's Human Rights Act and replace it with something else. And I'd leave the European Convention on Human Rights so that, like Australia and New Zealand and Canada and other nations, we can actually control who is coming in and out of our own country. I'd also create an active deterrent whereby we process illegal migrants and refugees outside of Britain, away from the British people and our children. That's ultimately what we need to do to keep the British people and our children safe. And if we do that, there'll be a very different sign on the White Cliffs of Dover. Britain is no longer a soft touch. If you come here illegally, we will remove you. We will process you elsewhere. And if you are not a genuine refugee, we will deport you. We will send you to another country. That is ultimately what treating people with respect looks like. And that is ultimately what the British people and our children and our ancestors who fought for this country deserve. I think we should get on with doing that right now. So if you're interested, you'll find me online, join me, join our community, and let's end this invasion once and for all. Thank you.
There it is. Matt Goodwin at mattgoodwin.org. If you're make France the processing center of Europe, please. I hear you. Yeah, this isn't just, regulated to the United States. It's any country that they're having these issues. And the issues don't stop. They won't stop. But of course, we have an election that's coming up. Wonderful, wonderful election. Postal Service chief frustrated at criticism, but promises heroic effort to deliver mail-in ballots. Oh, aren't they special? In Topeka, Kansas, head of the U.S. Postal Service expressed frustration Thursday with ongoing criticism by election officials into how it handles mail-in ballots, while also seeking to reassure voters that it's ready to handle an unexpected crush of those ballots this fall. The Postmaster General Louis DeJoy told reporters that it's difficult for the Postal Service to address generalities about perceived problems that said some election officials don't fully understand its efforts to deliver ballots in time to be counted. Back in 2020, it was because of the coup that they couldn't deliver them on time. So what's their excuse this time? He said the service will collect and deliver mail-in ballots more frequently in the days before November 5th presidential election. We keep processing centers open the Sunday before Election Day. The Postal Service, he said, would take extraordinary measures to rescue ballots that are mailed late at risk of missing state deadlines to be received by election offices. See, I said this before. The point here in the United States, it's not about election integrity. It's not about any of that. And I've said this multiple times, and I'll reiterate. If you want to see how this all plays out, they are already setting you up. The United States is setting themselves up for the worst possible election that you have ever seen, and they're preparing you for it. They're already showing their hand, and they're saying, this is what we're going to do. We are giving you until December, although most people are already going to know what the election results are. They're going to give you until December before we finish counting the ballots, because we need to make sure that every vote is counted. Now, you notice they don't say every legal vote is counted, because they're just going to count all the votes. That can become a really big issue if you're expecting on election night to have the results. Because if the Republicans, which are going to sweep like crazy across the United States, just look at the election in 2020. How many of those states were solid red? Just all over. But they're also rural. They don't have the population. So there's a reason why Hillary had the popular vote in 2020. I mean, in 2016. The reason why she had the popular vote but didn't win the election. Yeah, she got more votes than Trump did. Weird, huh? But it wasn't enough to flip it. And they saw that happen. And so now they have to come back and say, well, we've got to get rid of the Electoral College, because we want to make sure that the local votes don't count. And the later that it goes, the more chances are that those are not legal votes, but they'll still be counted. Last chance weekend. Yeah, they've only had 4 years no, because for the past 4 years, that's not what they've been doing. For the past 4 years, they've had continuous court battles. They've been paper terrorists. They've been creating new laws and passing new laws. And all of this had to do with a bunch of morons on January 6th that decided to go and make their voices heard at the Capitol. I mean, what kind of idiot does that? To speak out, to want to be heard. I mean, come on. You should know better than that. You don't have the right to redress your government. Nowhere in our Constitution says you can do that. Oh, right. You. So what happens in 2024? Well, you'll be lucky. You'll be lucky if you don't hear the same thing that happened in Venezuela, same thing that's happened in some of these third world countries where they have the same voting machines, that they don't all of a sudden call it another election. That you're election denier, that you're denying the will of the people, that you're what do they call it? A threat to democracy. This is where it becomes very important for you to pay attention to what people are saying on the media sites, on your APs and your NBCs, CNN, all of those. When they start telling you what they're doing, believe them that that's what they're going to be doing. The accusations that they're going to be making against one side is generally the same actions that they're carrying out. Look at them wanting to go after AI generated shit and saying, oh, there's going to be AI is going to be doing all of this garbage. But yet, whenever they go and pull up the photographs of Camel Toe's big coming out party, or whatever the hell you want to call it, where she shows up, that whenever they say, these pictures are AI generated, and you're only seeing pictures that came out of the Harris campaign, and they still deny it and say, no, these are not AI generated. That's fake news. Fact check, not true. These are all people that were there. But yet you're only seeing one picture. You're only seeing one picture. And then whenever you actually pull up footage from somebody that was there and they roll the camera around, there's nowhere near that many people. There's maybe 1/10 those amount of people. The crowds are overinflated. They don't really exist except on that one particular image. But yet we're told we have to accept that. We have to believe what our own eyes see is a lie that they're telling us. They're setting you up right now. This is the big setup. How many days do we have left until the election? How many times have we seen them show that there were people doing ballot dumps? How many times have we seen that? Yet we're told that's not true. That's fake. That's fake news. That's fake news. Hunter's laptop. Oh, that's fake news. You know, we can see with our own eyes the stuff that's happening. I mean, think about this. Why are they not talking about camel toes earrings? You would think that being such a big deal, that she was fed all of that information during her debate with Trump, where she got completely her ass handed to her. Did you see the article that a guy's been tracking cell phones in the rallies? 5,004 of the same phones at every rally for the last few months. Yeah. Most people forget that the left was claiming that the machines were insecure before and after the 2016 election. Yes. But this is all conspiracy theory. You're not supposed to believe what you see with your own eyes. These things don't exist except in some deranged far right group. And the more that you see it, the more that you start paying attention to what places like the AP are telling you, because they're telegraphing their next move. They're showing their hand. They're telling you right here in this story. They're telling you right here that they've said for weeks they're concerned about the Postal Service's readiness. They've cited ballots arriving late or without postmarks required by some state laws during the primary season. We engage in heroic efforts intended to beat the clock. These efforts are designed to be used only when the risk of deviation from our standard processes is necessary to compensate for the ballot being mailed so close to a state's deadline. This commonly misunderstood in the media, even by election officials. There should be no misunderstanding. Election day is the day that those votes should be cast. We shouldn't be having these massive mail-in ballots. That kind of crap should be reformed. Are they going to reform it? Do you think that anybody wants to reform it? No, because it's a puff piece. It's garbage. DeJoy and state local election officials do agree on one thing. They're urging voters who want to use mail-in ballots to return them as early as possible, at least 7 days before the state's deadline. Or how about just go to your local polling place and cast your vote in November? See, why would you have to have these ballots mailed in early? I know why. Because you know what the votes are going to be by then. So you know how many that you've got to count out. Like if you're sitting there in a center and all of a sudden all you see are nothing but votes for one party, how easy is it for you to say, you know what? We've got 7 days. We need to go out and get some signatures. We need to get some more people signed up. How many people can we get to forge out a signature? Why can't we just interject these into the system? We got 7 days. 7 days. Because we already know we've got all of these from this one particular area that's very heavy, one side or the other. So why not? What's a few million votes here and there? In past elections, you have not seen the amount of turnout in an election as you did in 2016. What is it? 2% of the United States, something like that, votes. The rest of them are just like, yeah, I don't care. My vote doesn't count anyway. You hear this constantly from people that, like, I've been so turned down by it, so turned off that there's no need. I don't feel like my vote counts. So they don't. Happens more than you know. Other countries, they go out in droves and vote on election day. Handwritten ballots where they sign it off. And guess what? On those handwritten ones, they can have them counted the next day. It wasn't until Bush versus Gore that it got ridiculous. And we didn't know for weeks after multiple counts. There was a whole hanging chads thing. And some of you probably don't remember that. A lot of you may. But is that going to change the vote? Whenever we're talking a few thousand here, a few thousand there, well, we can see how many we need to get in there. Of course, what does Minnesota say? I want to see high turnout and low drama. You don't have high turnout in the first place. So what makes you expect that you're going to have high turnout? We've seen that the amount of people, and you can look around in your local state, county. How many people do you see out there with Trump signs? How many people do you see out there with camel toe signs? Oh, wait, no, you won't see those because some sheriff in Ohio made threatening remarks. We found that threat. So that's how they create the narrative of saying, well, people are just scared to show their political preference because of the attacks at camel toe. I'm trying to remember here, but who is it that had 2 assassination attempts on them? I don't think it was camel toe. Because they don't view her as a threat, which is good. You shouldn't be viewing a political opponent as a threat. Because they're not. They're just a political opponent. The way to beat them is not with sticks and stones and bullets and grenades and crap like that. That's not how you beat them. You beat them at the ballot box. And you beat them so bad that they're left with their heads spinning. I mean, there's a reason why when Ronald Reagan ran for president, he won in an absolute freaking landslide, beating Jimmy Carter, an incumbent president. That's how bad his policies were. And his policies are not as near as bad as our current administration. But how do you beat him? Voted him out. You vote him out, you move on in the world. In 2020, amid the COVID, election officials reported sending just over 69 million ballots in the mail. It was an increase from 4 years earlier. While numbers this year may be smaller, why would they be smaller? You mean you're not going to send out 69 million ballots? Happy. Because 69 million is barely the East Coast. 69 million is definitely nowhere close to the West Coast. How many people live in California? I mean, no, we're not just talking about Los Angeles. We're talking about the whole state of California. And then how many people do you have living in New York? I mean, you hit that 69 million really freaking high. NASS, or National Association of State Electors Directors, told Joy in a letter last week that the Postal Service has not fixed persistent problems that could disenfranchise some voters. Well, that would be a lie. No voter is disenfranchised. There's a legal way of doing this. Mail-in ballots, unfortunately, is one of those legal ways. But if you don't think your ballot's going to get there in time, your election, you have to do is go and vote. No, your job can't fire you for going to vote. That right there would get them in federal hot water. Showing up with an ID to prove who you are, prove that you're a citizen of the United States in that election. Sounds reasonable to me, unless you're saying that people don't have enough agency to go and get a driver's license, which means they don't want to get a state ID. Why wouldn't they not be able to get a state ID? Is because they can't drive? How does someone over 21 go into a bar? Buy alcohol, buy cigarettes? Is it because it's just, you assume that they're that age? It's extremely troubling that the United States Postal Service dismissed our concerns about disenfranchising voters by failing to postmark and timely deliver ballots rather than working with us to find solutions. Well, I'm curious. Who are the National Association of State Election Directors? So what is this group? Because, it sounds like this total like group of election officials. But what exactly are they? So this National Association of State Election Directors. Why don't we look at them? Here we go. Who runs and administers elections? Every state or territory has a chief election official. So, who secures elections? Between state and local officials? Okay. How does the census impact it? How do election officials serve voters with disabilities? Overseas. Who certifies the voting equipment? Oh, Help America Vote Act of 2002. U.S. Election EAC. Have a voluntary voting system guidelines. How do you become a poll worker? What's the difference between poll worker, poll watcher? What's early voting? What's the difference between mail-in ballot, absentee ballot? How do Dropbox works? What's provisional ballot? What happens after election day? How are mail ballots verified? But this is just giving you all of the little basic stuff. Because whenever you click on this, who are they? Oh, they're a nonpartisan professional organization that disseminates election administration best practices and information across the states. It's a 501c3 professional organization out of Washington, D.C. Who we are. It's limited to state officials who are responsible for the administration of elections. Oh. Yeah. I bet if I started doing a little bit of research on these folks right here, what it would turn up. What do you think it would turn up on these people right here? What do you think it would start turning up on all these fine people here? If you really start digging into it, what kind of information do you think you would start finding from them? What information do you think you would find out about Donna Barber as acting director? What do you think that you would find out about this New Mexico Mandy Vigil? How much dirt would you be able to dig up and find out what they're actually supporting or what they stand for? Because just because they've got this nice official name doesn't mean that they're doing everything legal or appropriate. DJ Young, Wisconsin, Megan Wolf. Well, I mean, all their information is right there. You start digging into them, and you'd be surprised what kind of stuff that you would find out about these people. And you would also start finding out that whenever NASS is being promoted on something like the AP as election integrity officials, who made them in charge of this? Who put them in charge of this? Where's your membership? Oh dear, my debit card updated. Why didn't you hear? I need to fix that. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Thanks. Physical therapy wound care. Yeek. It is amazing to me. You start looking at this and you start seeing that there's some issues that are already happening. Kansas Secretary of State Scott Schwab, Republican and past NASS president, said this week, oh, yeah. But is he a rhino? The Postal Service Inspector General at the end of July saying that 98.2% of the 10.3 million ballots mailed to election officials from December 1st, 2023 to April 1st, 2024 arrived on time. But why would you be mailing in ballots in December 2023? So odd to me that people are failing to recognize how crazy this place is. Speaking of welcome.
Shizzy, you're making it sound like it's a globalist conspiracy.
I don't know. I'm asking the questions, man. That's all it takes.
Just asking questions.
Asking. Well, somebody has to. Postal workers see a stray ballot, they jump on it. Sounds kinky. What this
it does.
Just imagining there's a stray ballot. Get it now.
Get it. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, for crying out loud, you have a machine in place, and do you think all these people in the federal government want to let go of that machine, or do they want to feed it because they're employed by it?
Exactly. Well, and people don't understand that the U.S. Postal Service is not an arm of the U.S. government, but it's funded by the U.S. government.
Right.
Like the U.S. Postal Service is a private entity.
Yeah. And then you have all these, like the group you were talking about out of DC. DC is the only place in America where you can get paid to do absolutely nothing.
Yep. And it's preferred that you do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you don't want to make us look bad, so stop doing that.
Exactly.
You're here to collect a goddamn paycheck and do what we tell you to do.
Right.
So stop making waves.
And we've spent all this time and energy and creating these studies that you plebeians need to understand. Look, you're the unwashed masses. You're the people that, you just don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. Like this one that came out yesterday. Voters split on whether Harris or Trump would do a better job on the economy.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Voters are not split on this. I mean, like I went over this earlier. I'm sitting there explaining to my wife how inflation works. And she's sitting there going, well, that's not true. I'm like, sweetheart.
Yeah, it is.
It is. I'm telling you because I do this shit all fucking morning long.
Right.
I'm more intelligent than you. True. But it is I joke not. She thinks that a drop of a half a percentage point is this. It'd be great. You know, we might be able to, like, if we needed to, we could refinance, and this is going to help people out. A half percentage point.
Oh God, none of
I
these
was
people
like,
know how this works.
And I'm like, that's not how this works.
No.
I was like, a half a percentage point right now, it doesn't translate to squat. I said, you give me 1 or 2 percentage point drop.
That's different.
And then you're talking. I said, right now at an interest rate of 6 to 7%, depending on what your loan is at. She goes, yeah, but that's still a bit of a relief. I said, no, that's not a bit of relief. Because in 2 months after the election is over, if Camel Toe wins,
it goes up.
You're going to see that interest rate fucking skyrocket again. And it's going to go through the damn roof. It's going to go back up to worse than 2023 was.
Well, because here's what they'll do is they'll start raising the interest rates again, but they'll do it 1/4 point at the time. And next thing you know, it's gone up a whole point as opposed to just going back up a half a point.
Exactly.
What a lot of people don't realize is that, on the surface, it may look good that it's gone down a half a point, but try to go refinance your current loan and see how much you're paying in fees and see if you actually are ahead.
Right. So those people that took out a home loan during the market just being totally screwed.
Yeah.
Those people that took out that loan, trying to refinance, unless it drops like a whole percentage point, it's not worth it. It's completely not worth it.
No, and here's the other thing too, and people can agree with me or disagree with me. This is not a reflection of the economy. This is, hey, we need to lower the rate right before the election. It's the same thing as dropping the price of gas. What happens after the election? Gas prices go right back up.
Yep.
That's
because of Christmas travel, don't you know?
It's a political stunt. It's not a true reflection of the economy. It's a political stunt.
Oh my gosh. Alabama Rose, good to see you. I hadn't seen you in forever. Emma Rose. Yeah. Been forever. No, and I've tried to explain this to my wife, and she just looks at me like you're just diehard Trump supporter. I was like, no, I'm all about freedom. Yeah. I mean, we know that she's being fed all the bullshit, the talking points through her little fucking earrings.
Right. Not only that, but all of her supporters are being fed the same talking points. I mean, look at the people that have come out and supported her. Do any of them deviate from the standard talking points? No, they all use the same damn talking points. Like where you put up the Billie Eilish video with her brother, which, by the way, that's creepy.
It is.
It's the same talking points as the DNC.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about Project 2025, which Trump has denounced.
Yes.
They're talking about women's rights because that's the only issue they feel that they can actually be ahead on, even though there's plenty of holes in that argument. But nothing else, nothing about the economy, nothing about the border. But not to mention, we have a candidate in Camel Toe who she reversed her policies within like a few days.
Yes.
She's like, Tim Waltz and I are gun owners and we're not going to take your guns from you. And then like a few days later, we're going to reinstitute the assault weapons ban.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if she does that on that, what, you know, somebody had said it best, that politicians always revert back to their core.
Yes.
So even if matter of fact, it was Trump that said this in a interview. He said politicians always revert back to their core. They can flip flop on issues, but in the end, they're always going to go back to where they started because those are their beliefs.
It is. And that is going to remain happening the whole damn time. It's not going to stop. All of this stuff that you're seeing come out about this stuff is constant. Here. Yeah, like this. Here. This is you're gonna crack up on this. All right, just so you know, this is not work friendly.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Jariah's comment.
Oh, storm. But you have to consider, she grew up in a middle class family with a lawn.
I forgot. I totally forgot about that, Jariah. It's not like I haven't heard it 100 million times. Anytime she's asked a policy question.
Yeah, guess why he had the filter on?
Steven, do you mind taking that filter off?
Oh yeah. I was just trying to get into like the holiday spirit or whatever, and it.
Yeah.
Much.
Oh my god, dude.
Okay.
All right. So
wow.
Like I said, not safe for work.
Yeah.
Not safe for work.
That's not the reason why I just show an avatar on screen. I don't have any of that kind of stuff in the background. Matter of fact, it's pretty boring, which is why I show an avatar on screen.
Yeah. Need a Zoom troll to go into that meeting. Well then. Well then. I'm sorry, Shizzy. I figured you saw my mess in Discord. I'll always support you, my friend. I show up here and there when we can be. Yeah, just trying to walk again. Well, you get to healing up. You get to healing up good.
That's right.
That's
right.
I mean that. Yeah, I saw. I only see so much though. There's only so much time, so much bandwidth I have.
Dude, how many people have been exposed on Zoom meetings?
Oh God.
For who they really are. How many people have been exposed?
Or even during a press briefing, who they are.
2 days since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again. And you're here at the podium in the White House briefing room calling him a threat. How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
Does that sound like a bad question?
No, it sounds like it is taking a shot at the administration, right? Just objectively.
No pun intended.
Right. But it's a fair question. And as the press secretary, you should be able to field those questions in a professional manner. That's your job.
What she should have said was there is no intention towards this of considering him a threat.
Right.
So why don't we just stop using that against them? Because what was it? Two days after Trump was shot in the head.
Yeah.
Get it right. He was shot in the head.
He was.
Here is part of the head. 2 days after that, after they had said we need to stop the political rhetoric, and it's Republicans that are having the political rhetoric that's causing all this violence. That's the way they worded it. And then they went right back to calling him a threat to democracy 2 days after that.
Well, what's so funny, somebody brought up this point to me. They were like, a few days after Trump has the Biden debate, somebody goes after him. A few days after he has the Harris debate, somebody goes after him.
Yeah.
That's not
Weird,
a coincidence.
Well, let's hear her response because this is glorious. This will make your toes curl.
The sigh.
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question.
What is that supposed to mean? You disagree with the premise of my question?
I love these typical answers. How they have to circumvent everything instead of just answering the question. We have to get background because Kamala is notorious for it. I have to give you all this background. It's called resume building. All right.
Yeah.
Resume building is where you have to give all this background as to why you are an expert to be able to answer this question. Instead of just answering the damn question.
Yeah.
The question that you're asking, it is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it.
Is it?
Because American people are watching. And to say
that. They are.
Yeah, they
are watching to see how you respond.
And you failed. But she won't answer the question. She'll circumvent all the way back around and basically say, your question has no validity. Because what you see is not what we're doing.
Right.
We've already condemned, violence, political violence. And the political violence is coming from the Republicans. It's not coming from us. Wait, who's
Name
the one
one.
who got shot at twice? Who was shot in the head and then following a debate, and then who was shot at again?
Well, it's awful funny if you want to compare the two sides. Which one calls for violence against the other? After Trump, after somebody took a shot at Trump both times, did you see anybody from the right say we need to go after the Democrats? No. But you see all over social media how much the left pushes the whole, they need to get Trump. He is a threat to democracy. They need to get him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got plenty of video of them calling for political violence multiple times. I've got 2.5 minutes of it.
Well, for crying out loud, they had talked about the 6 justices on the Supreme Court, how they were a quote unquote threat to democracy. Mm-hmm. And then somebody tried to go after them.
It's weird how
they don't talk about that, do they?
No. Won't talk about that.
To say that from an administration who has consistently condemned political violence.
Wrong.
Okay, stop. Stop.
They've
saying
political.
Saying that we condemn it. We condemn political violence. It's bullshit.
It is.
It's a talking.
You know what they've condemned? You know what they've condemned? They've condemned Republicans, accusing them of promoting political violence.
Right. That's
all
not
condemning
that is.
Political violence.
You can't say we condemn political violence and then come back on the other hand and say they're a threat to democracy. They are a threat.
And that was his question. Why do you continue using this and saying this, knowing that it's inciting people?
From an administration where the president called the former president and was grateful that he was okay.
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything?
Are we talking about the guy that just suffered a coup? Are we talking about that guy?
I'd say, okay, why is it that he called to check on to make sure he was okay if he was a threat to democracy?
Mm-hmm.
From an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of Paul Pelosi, called out.
Why did that get pulled in?
January 6th?
No. Paul Pelosi. Why the hell did that get pulled in? That was one of their own.
Exactly. That's why it got pulled in, because her point is it is the Republicans that are causing this political violence. See, this is gaslighting. This is trying to flip the script. That's why she took that brief hesitation. Was like, got me there. We keep saying it, and well, we're not saying it. We're condemning the political violence that happened on January 6th and the attack on Paul Pelosi. Well, although it was one of his own, but most Democrats don't know that it was one of their own.
Right.
Out and said we need to lower the temperature after the Butler incident. And now for you to...
But you haven't.
But they haven't.
But you haven't. You've continued along the same line.
Kind of comment in your question, because your question...
No, it was a simple question.
Yeah.
That you can't answer.
You don't want to answer. Because you don't want to upset your base.
Exactly.
Involve the comment in a statement. And, it is, that is also incredibly dangerous.
How is that incredibly dangerous by asking that question?
Because it points out their hypocrisy, the rhetoric, their lies. Constantly calls them out.
There could have been a much more eloquent answer to that would be more professional, that wouldn't make you look like an absolute idiot.
Nope, not at all.
I'm like, do these people even go to journalism school or communications? Or, I mean, it's like, what the hell are they teaching them? Because they obviously don't know how to do their jobs.
This right here is what they teach them.
So, quick question for you, real quick. So, it seems like a lot of the questions that you were asking, it doesn't seem to like address the issue, the actual issues don't touch me, bro. Don't touch me, bro. No. I'm just asking, because there's an increase in crime in the area. It seems like there's a lot more of a problem here. The questions almost seemed like you were trying to turn him into a victim. Do not touch me.
Back up.
Do not touch me.
Dude, back up.
Back up. Do not
back up.
Dude, get the fuck off of me now!
Back up. Back up. It ain't gotta be like that. Just back up.
You do not fucking touch me, okay?
That's assault right there.
It's protection of a third party.
Back up, bro. Right now. Ain't what it gotta be.
For asking questions?
Well, for getting in her face.
Asking questions?
Well, for constantly chasing her. Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. It's not so much that he's asking questions and she's walking away not wanting to answer. It's him pursuing her. Yeah, I'd have a problem with that too.
Mm-hmm. What is this? Oh, wait, what do we got here? Let's see. See what this is.
Hey, dude, where are you going? We got to get Kamala Harris elected. Pennsylvania, that's where we're going. Jump in. Hey, did you guys know that Pennsylvania is the home of Taylor Swift? Focus, Matt. We're trying to get her elected in 2024. Right. Yeah. All right, let's go. Pennsylvania, let's go. The road to a Harris-Waltz victory in 2020.
Yes!
Like with every video I make, I'm starting to understand more and more why the government wants to take this app from me. Here you go.
That was great. Oh my God, that was great.
Oh, I couldn't help it. Oh, that made my day. That really did.
I love Toonces.
Toots is the driving cat.
That was one of my favorite skits on SNL.
Oh,
Tootses,
here we
look
go.
out! And they go off a
Look
cliff.
Yes. Here we go.
I am Ukrainian, and this is my car. I am Ukrainian, and this is my church. I'm an American, and I don't give a fuck. I don't. Your country is getting billions and billions of dollars from us. Meanwhile, we have veterans sleeping on the streets. We have to put ourselves first. And I don't give a shit about any other country, to be honest. I don't. I care about America,
Amen.
where I'm from.
I'm like, yeah, you're a Ukrainian, but you got time to make a video in the middle of a war?
Yeah.
That's up there with the all the TikTok videos in hospitals over COVID. Like you got time to make a TikTok video? Then your floor must not be that busy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course, you saw this on 60 Minutes,
The crime
right?
was severe. It was an attack on our democracy. Once you replace votes and deliberation with violence and intimidation, you've lost the democratic process. You've lost the rule of law. But it's also about the victims, the officer victims who were injured that day, and making sure we hold people accountable for the harm that they inflicted on the 140 officers who reported physical injury.
Matthew Graves has worked in the...
It's part of the job. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah. Did anybody on your side die? No.
Nope.
Shut up.
Nope. Not at all. And of course, here's a lot of people, like, all this stuff gets memory hold. Like, AP doesn't cover any of this. Why do you have this?
At the beginning of an afternoon news conference, the Springfield police chief, Allison Elliott, flat out said she wouldn't be taking any questions. Instead, she read from a prepared statement, which contained, really no new information, just what we had learned hours earlier. Several agencies got that bomb threat by email at 8:24 this morning. City Hall was evacuated and closed the rest of the day, as were several other buildings in the area. Well, reporters had plenty of questions for the police chief, but the chief again said she wouldn't be taking any questions. And that's when reporters loudly complained about a lack of transparency.
I encourage the public, if you see something, please say something. Thank you.
Chief, are these arrests today along Chafing Avenue related to either each
Why are you still
other
standing up there if you're not taking
or
questions?
larger attention Springfield has been getting this week?
Again, we are not taking questions at this time. I do have Karen Graves, Ms. Karen Graves from the city here with us.
Then you leave.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to let you know that if you have any further questions after this, you can email me.
Again, no questions answered. Elliott said all the buildings were checked and cleared by police and explosives detecting canines. The nearby courthouse was checked. As a precaution, it was also cleared. Now, the chief said right now they are partnering with the Dayton office of the FBI to identify the source of that email. On your side, I'm Terry Sullivan.
They did identify the source. It's foreign countries. What? You don't believe me? Look into it. The threats were actually coming from foreign entities. They were not coming from somebody within the U.S. And two, if you're up there to give a prepared statement, not taking questions, usually you make the prepared statement and then you leave.
Yep. You don't stand back.
It's PR 101.
Did you denounce the bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio?
I don't know what happened with the bomb threats. I know that it's been taken over by illegal migrants, and that's a terrible thing that happened. Springfield was this beautiful town, and now they're going through hell.
Dude, you've got to. There is a video out there. I actually saw it on Instagram of the guy that does the voice for Chief Wiggum on The Simpsons. And he's fielding a phone call, because Springfield, the Simpsons town is Springfield. So he's fielding a phone call from somebody who's complaining about, people eating the cats and dogs. It's hilarious.
That I would love to see. do you know who this is?
Let's see. Not off the top of my head, no.
There was a song written about her. Multiple songs.
Who is it?
Cherry Bomb.
I noticed a shift in the Democrat Party after Barack Obama was elected president. And I voted for Barack. My twin sister and I were big Hillary fans, and we were very disappointed that she didn't win the Democrat nomination. Yet there was this unknown, very charismatic African-American man that said all the right things. He would say that there aren't white Americans, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans. He said, we are all Americans. And I believe that. And after 8 years of George W. Bush, who I loathed, I was all for all that hope and change. I cried when Barack Obama was inaugurated.
God.
But it was very soon after that, after he was in the White House, that the red flags for me started to wave. And the first was that he wouldn't put his hand over his heart for the national anthem. Now, my father was a gunny sergeant, paratrooper in the Marine Corps and fought on the front lines in the Pacific in World War II. So we were so pro-veteran in our military. So that was the first slap in the face for me. It was a gut punch. And he went from us being all Americans to America being racist. I thought we just voted for the very first Black president of the United States. How can you say that? Who are you? He started talking about how America wasn't exceptional. And his wife would turn around and say that this was the first time she'd ever been proud of America, was because her husband was elected. And then he started telling the African American community that there was a boot on their neck. And that more than likely, it would be so hard for them to ever amount to anything. And I thought, you're the president of the United States. You can't get any better than that, buddy.
Sure.
It was so disheartening, his rhetoric. And not only that, he was causing such divisiveness between Republicans and Democrats that I was noticing that Democrats were starting to really get down and dirty and nasty when they would talk to Republicans. I mean, nasty. And it was such a shock to me because we had really been unified after 9/11.
For about 2
So I was
weeks.
telling my best friend about my grievances, and he invited me to go to a black tie event in Simi Valley at the Ronald Reagan Library. But yet he said that it was secret, that these were Republicans that didn't feel safe because they were big actors and businessmen in Hollywood, and that their political ideology, being Republican or conservative, was an absolute bozo no-no in Hollywood.
Yep.
So I went to this event. I was so intrigued, and it was spectacular. These big actors, and I mean big, some I'd worked with. It was so loving and inclusive. But the real stars that night were our active military and our beloved veterans. The host that night was Gary Sinise, and he hosted many of these events. Gary is a saint. And yet he felt that this group of Republicans had to stay anonymous for their careers, for their livelihoods.
Mm-hmm.
It was a shock to me. But the way they treated our veterans and our active military was beyond anything you would ever see. They honored them. And a lot of these veterans were maimed. And I thought, what does the Democrat Party do for veterans? Big fat zero is what they do. They talk about how they're for the common man and they're for immigrants and they're going to raise everybody up. But really what they do is they shove them down, especially our veterans. And that is a sin. So that opened my eyes and I started looking into this Democrat Party that I was a part of. And I wrote some things down because I'd been so disturbed by not only the way we were treating each other, driven by the Democrat Party, that I started taking notes. And what I found since Barack Obama took office in this new Democrat Party, what they've become, what they're for, what they stand for, what they're against, is that they're anti-American, anti-citizen, anti-border, anti-veteran, anti-law enforcement, anti-military, anti-vice, anti-gun ownership. They are anti-small business, anti-home ownership, and they are anti-family. If you don't follow this transgender ideology and your child is indoctrinated into this cult, they'll come and take your kids. Take your kids.
Mm-hmm.
I asked myself, what are they for? And they are pro-socialism, pro-communism, pro-illegal immigrant above the citizens. They're pro-criminal, and victims are just an inconvenient afterthought. They're for zero bail for repeat offenders. And California is a war zone. I mean, we are overrun with criminals, and we're brimming with homeless encampments. I mean, you can't go a block without seeing a tent. But I think their most artful, disgusting thing that the Democrat Party has done is they've artfully made people anti-white. Also, what they supported, the Democrat Party, was the BLM riots and Antifa. And I'll never forget seeing Kamala Harris on Stephen Colbert, and he was concerned. It'd been a couple of years of these devastating riots and cities being destroyed and towns burned to the ground. And he asked them, you know, what's going to happen? Shouldn't they stop? She goes, they're not going to stop. They shouldn't stop. And I was infuriated with her. So when January 6th happened, I understood why. They had kept us in fear for years of riots and murder. So when January 6th happened, I thought, good, you get a taste of what you've been forcing us to live with for these last couple of years. I mean, I wanted them to taste it. The terrible thing is that with this new Democrat Party, you know, what's wrong is right, and what is evil is good. And Rob Reiner went on X and he said, you know, Joe Biden, he's brought decency back to the White House. And I thought, decency? Are you kidding me? They shot gay porn on the floor of the Senate, cocaine found in the White House. I mean, they hired transsexual cross-dressers in high positions that would go in all decked out with their lipstick, and then they would basically spit in the face of every American that just found it to be a circus show. It was like they were completely disrespecting the office of the presidency, the administration, and the United States of America. So I am walking away, and I'm asking you to walk away too. Walk away from the deceit, from the censorship, from the intimidation and the radicalism, from the racism. The Democrat Party is now the party of chaos and divisiveness. And Brandon, I want to thank you for giving people like me the strength to stand up and say it out loud. I am Cherie Curry from the 1970s all-girl teenage rock band, The Runaways. And I am walking away, and you can too. God bless the United States of America. God bless our military and our veterans. God bless you. And Brandon, God bless you, baby. You are loved.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, she's become a very much a what do you call that, a trans deactivist? She does not like it at all.
No.
She's very much against that crap.
Well, I mean, let's face it. A lot of people have called MAGA a cult, but the whole progressive movement is a cult.
It is.
It's a cult. You have a religious devotion to an idea that supersedes everything. Which, I mean, let's face it, if you actually go in and look at it and study it, it's Marxist ideology.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. It's you're trying to break down everything that basically is American in order for a group of elites to say, no, we're all equal. No, we're not all equal. Even in communist Russia, there was a ruling class and then there was everybody else.
Yes.
That's Marxism.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And once people start understanding the bullshit that's being run, and it gets pointed out, they really want to fight against it.
Right. I mean, what's the purpose of allowing millions of illegals into the country? You're trying to create a voter base.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to create a voter base that's dependent upon the government. And it's like, well, if you don't vote Democrat, you're going to lose all these benefits.
Exactly.
We're going to illegally find a way to make you citizens so you can vote, and you're going to vote Democrat.
And here's everyone says, oh, well, January 6th. Oh, well, why don't we show January 6th? Here we go.
As we heard, there were vocal opponents of the president, thousands of them protesting across Washington throughout this day. Most of them were peaceful, but a number of incidents turned violent late this afternoon. A limousine was set on fire downtown. Smoke could be seen for blocks away. And protesters hurled trash cans, flash bombs, and objects at police who used pepper spray in return. By this evening, at least 217 people
were arrested. 6 police officers were injured. Jeffrey Brown and our team have been out on the streets all day. Here's what they saw.
It was a disparate group of protesters coming together to march, express their resistance to the new administration.
Wait a minute. These aren't January 6th protesters.
As an illegitimate president.
Yeah, they are.
Then just sit at home and let
I know.
this be like Trump's administration be normalized.
Robbie Disu is an organizer of one of the lead umbrella groups called Disrupt J20 Inauguration.
Umbrella groups. Does that sound familiar?
Just like our name says, and we've definitely been.
You remember hearing about these umbrella groups? Really?
Yeah.
You know what the umbrella groups are, right?
Go ahead.
Well, if you don't know what they are, just go check out Rosalind's stuff because she's covering this. Those umbrella groups are part Antifa. They're also the Free Palestine groups. That's who these people are. All they've done is shifted their focus. These are the same people. Same exact people. If you don't believe me, go check out what Rosalind's been covering.
Yeah. They changed their name, they changed their image, but it's the same ideal.
In a few moments from now, when we're talking, Donald Trump will be president.
Yeah, but we were not under any impression that we would stop him from becoming president. The point is to set a tone of resistance from the first moment that he's in office.
One act of disruption at security checkpoints leading into the National Mall, demonstrators attempted to block access to the inauguration, chaining themselves together and refusing to move. In another, protesters shut down part of a major highway near the Capitol. McPherson Square here in downtown Washington, D.C. has been ground zero for protesters all day. From here, different groups have fanned out around the city, some marching peacefully, others more violent. At times, the peaceful burst into the violent. After a tense standoff at 12th and K Streets, police used pepper spray and flash grenades to disperse the crowd.
Good.
Elsewhere, protesters dressed in black threw rocks and flash bombs and smashed windows, leading to more confrontations, injuries, and arrests.
Yeah.
These demonstrators used tactics associated with so-called black bloc anarchist groups, long prevalent in Europe, often seizing the moment amid more peaceful protests. This afternoon, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said in a statement, "Again, I respect your right to peacefully protest, but the damage that has occurred today is unacceptable and not welcome in D.C."
That's not
For
peaceful.
most who came out, though, today was a day to come together and plan for the future. I spoke with this couple who came from New Hampshire.
There's a lot of folks who feel like they aren't heard, that they're not represented, that their voices do not matter in any way, shape, and or form. And it's just reminding folks that even though he is president, we respect that fact because that fact is a fact. That does not mean that over the next 8 years, whatever it ends up happening, that those voices won't matter, that those voices will not be a part of the conversation, that those thoughts and those opinions will not be a part of the conversation. I just want to make it a point to say that they will.
The National Park Service gave out 22 permits for First Amendment events, considerably more than in previous inaugurations, when some half dozen were requested. More than 3,000 police and 5,000 National Guard are on hand, and security expenses for the day are expected to exceed $100 million. Protests today also occurred well beyond Washington, from marches in Denver to across San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge and around the world. In London, demonstrators
what's that?
unfurled banners and bridges
Wait a
protesting
minute.
for the new president, among them to build bridges, not walls. In Tokyo, hundreds of people, most of them women, marched through the night streets in protest of Mr. Trump's presidency.
And Jeff
All
joins
20
me
of them.
now. He's still in downtown Washington. Jeff, you've been
20
there
white
all
people
day.
in
Where do
Japan.
things stand right now?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can hear all around me sirens in one corner, a band playing in another corner, police off right behind me. It's been a very unusual day here in Judy in Washington, and it is an extremely unusual evening. It's calmer right now than it was. I'm standing actually right at the spot. We're right outside the Washington Post. This is where that limousine, that car was set on fire that you showed our audience the video of from a little earlier. It's a little calmer now. There's a very large security presence now. There's more protesters down at the other end.
Yeah, they set our car on
some
fire.
flames right there, but I don't think that's a major fire at the moment. But we'll
I
watch
don't think
that.
that's a major
It's little
fire.
calmer, but and we've been told that for the most part, at least the main coalition groups are not planning any more activities tonight, but maybe these smaller groups that cause more of the trouble. And the thinking really is that it is these smaller groups that have caused most of the trouble. You don't quite know what's going to happen with them later on, but for the most part, I think we may have seen it's a little calmer now.
In just a few seconds, Jeff, we saw you talking to some of the protesters. Do you get the sense that they feel their message is being heard?
Well, Judy, I think it's more about, and I was listening to the conversation you were just having, I think it's more about what's next, where do they go from here? They wanted to make sure that they were here, that they were showing that they exist, that they have a message, and that they can press things ahead. And it was about meeting people and speaking up and sort of organizing to see where they go from here. But I think that, of course, just as you were saying with the guest earlier, that's really the big question for people in the streets as well. What's next?
Jeffrey Brown out on the streets all day long for the News Hour. Thank you.
All
really,
day, Judy.
Really fine reporting. We thank you.
Oh, and that wasn't it. That wasn't all of them.
Oh no.
Oh no. That was just the part of all of that. There you go.
Not my president! 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 The whole world is watching! The whole world is watching!
Yeah, they're watching how stupid you are.
No KKK, no fascist USA! No Trump! No KKK, no fascist USA! Hey, love Trump's hate! Love Trump's hate! Love Trump's hate! Love Trump's hate!
I'm going to get to my point. Hold on. I'll just make my point. All of us here, whether we're women, people of color, working class.
This is not what people want, and this is what it looks like to resist, to fight back against Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is that back.
They're getting paid. Follow the money, folks.
It's amazing.
You think average, ordinary American citizens really care?
No.
These groups are funded.
Yes.
These people are getting paid.
You notice
if it wasn't for that, they would still be in their dorm rooms smoking weed, eating Doritos, and playing Xbox.
Exactly. And screwing each other's girlfriends.
And screwing each other's girlfriends. Yeah.
Exactly. Generally, people just don't care that much about it.
No.
But whenever they walk to where they're doing the vote, make their voices heard. All of a sudden, it's really odd that fights break out. Most of these people are wearing masks, the same kind of masks that cover their face, and certain people are arrested, but others are let go. Instigators are let go. What?
Funny how that happens.
Like
almost as if it was planned.
Almost as if this is what happened during the inauguration of Donald Trump. Whenever they said thousands all across DC, and the day of the inauguration, they came in and they boarded up buildings. They locked things down. They had barricades and barriers up everywhere, and they were boarding up buildings. I mean, and as soon as I saw them doing that, I was like, if anyone has decided to go to DC, I suggest you don't.
Yeah.
Don't go there. Don't do this. This is going to end poorly.
And if Trump wins, they'll do the same thing again.
Yes.
They're going to do the same thing again. See, it's awful funny. Somebody had done a deep dive on how Republican candidates have been constantly called racist, Nazis, fascists. And it actually goes all the way back to Barry Goldwater back in the 70s. Every candidate that has come up, they constantly call them that. I found that very, very interesting.
Huh? But yet, you got early voting happening. We've got our early voting. We've got all good stuff happening. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They are looking to shut everything down from this election. It's coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All you find people that if you're planning on going to the inauguration, I guarantee you, by the time the inauguration happens, you're going to see a lot of these flights disappear. You're not going to be able to fly in, fly out. You're not going to be able to take train. You're going to find that your gas prices have just skyrocketed mysteriously. It's going to be amazing. You're not going to be able to even get a motel room. Bread and breakfast, nothing. Everything's going to be booked up.
Yep.
And
amazingly.
And I would suggest, and you can do this research on your own. Call up any one of the hotels, motels, whatever, and see if you can book a room for January the 6th. See if you can. Say, I'd like to book a room for, or a couple of rooms for January the 6th. And see if those places aren't already booked up. Do the research on your own. Tell me what you find. Tell me if you're able to find a room for January the 6th. I bet you don't find them. I bet you all those rooms are booked up and blocked out.
Yep.
Give it a try. With that, everyone, I'm going to call it a day. Anything you want to say, Volstorm? Except for we know that Friday Night Live is coming.
Yeah, just we'll have FNL on tonight, 9:00 over on the Experts channel. Come on, check us out.
Got it. Caitlin's there. That'd be Baby Wiggles. Caitlin.
Little Wiggles.
So who won the pool on that one?
Risa Murphy won the pool. She was the first one to guess the date. Now, I think Bad Duck or somebody tried to come in after her and guess the date and guess the time. He was wrong on the time. So Reese is the one that won the baby pool.
Nice. Congratulations, Risa. Oh, this is gonna be a good Friday. Because I've only had like 2 days to cover all of the craziness that's been going on while I was on vacation. like the president's another assassination.
Yeah, I was like, of all the times for him to leave and all this stuff's going on.
Just like, and I literally, I joke not, as soon as I heard that, I turned off all news. I was just like, nope.
I'll blame you a bit.
Because all that would have happened was I would have been like, all right, I've got to get on and stream about this shit tonight.
Right. Exactly.
Which would have meant that I would have interrupted my stream, which was fine anyway, because I decided to stream from the beach, like happy, peaceful, happy thing.
Yeah, I caught you one morning.
Sunrise.
You're like, here I am, sunrise on the beach, and I'm like, you mother.
Yep. And I know that Nick has his 10,000 sub
I think that's
show
right.
that he's going to be doing. I'll probably swing by there. That just depends on what time I get done with my wife.
Get done with your wife. Hey, we don't need to know that. That's between you and the wife, man.
Hey, what can I say? You know what I need to do? I totally forgot about this. I guess I should send you guys somewhere to go look at something and be somewhere else. Because that would probably be nice of me. Do that real quick. I always forget to do this because I on Fridays is like my day of screwing off kind of thing.
Right.
Which I
Same.
do very well. Although I do have to go get some dog food and all that kind of crap. But let's see what we've got going on. Looks like we've got Squid. Squid is watching that. Got Legal Vices. In Copium. Oh. Yeah. I'm sending you guys over there because it's Cocomelion Crack, Dragon Age Top Surgery, and more.
I guarantee Max is on there too.
Oh yeah, Max is pretty damn awesome. I was thinking about sending him an invite today, but I was just like, we got to send you guys over there. Yeah, meme is a blast. Make sure that you guys hit the thumbs up whenever you get over there. Let them know that you got rated. And all I want to see is boobies in the chat. That's it. Just boobies.
Boobies.
Boobies. We love boobies. All right, y'all. See you soon.
Now I gotta call somebody to come get me because my car turned into a spaceship and I don't know how to fly it. I'm not an astronaut.